up. Richard Strader, long time no see. What's up, buddy?
My brother, where do you intend to go tonight? I heard that you missed your connecting flight to
The Blue Ridge Mountains over in Tennessee.
You're ever welcome with me anytime you like. Let's drive to
The countryside, leave behind some green-eyed lookalikes, so no one gets worried, no. So no one gets worried, no.
But Sean, don't get careless. I'm sure it'll be fine.
This is
I love
Fleet Foxes.
I love you.
Oh, brother of mine. Bing, 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 ding, 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 ding.
In the quivering forest, where the shivering dog rests,
Our good grandfather.
built a wooden nest,
Wort.
and the river got frozen, and the home got snowed in.
Yeah, you can see Saturn and Venus.
Where the moon glowed
I think Venus is to the right of the moon right now.
morning light. Terrible am I, child, even if you don't mind. In the
And Jupiter. That's crazy, dude.
where the shivering dog rests, our good grandfather built a wooden nest, and the river got frozen.
In your mirror, you can spot Uranus. Yeah.
Got snowed in, and a yellow moon glowed bright till the morning light.
Terrible am my child, even if you don't mind.
No.
Are all the planets aligned right now? Yeah, this song's called Blue Ridge Mountains by Fleet Foxes. I used to really like folk shit back in the day. I mean, I still do, but I used to like seek it out, you know what I mean? A lot of those like indie groups and stuff. 2032 is the new 2012. It is. Do I like memes? Oh yeah. That's all I do all day is stare at memes. Let's see. So, as of today, February 2nd, the planets are not currently aligned. However, a notable planetary alignment is anticipated later this month. On February 28th, 2025, 7 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, will appear to align in the evening sky shortly after the sunset. This event, often referred to as a planetary parade, will be visible from various locations. To observe this alignment, look towards the western horizon just after sunset. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn will be visible to the naked eye, while Uranus and Neptune will require your binoculars, or a telescope due to their faintness. Mercury will be low on the horizon and may also benefit from optical aid. For optimal viewing, find a location with a clear, unobstructed view of the western sky and minimal light pollution. The alignment will form an arc across the sky rather than a straight line due to the inclination of the planet's orbit. This rare celestial event offers a unique opportunity for stargazers to witness multiple planets in close proximity. Be sure to mark your calendars and prepare any unnecessary equipment in advance to fully enjoy this spectacle. That's crazy. So that's February 28th. 7 planets will be in alignment with Earth and the Moon. Wait, isn't that all the planets then? Because they got rid of Pluto, they're like, fuck Pluto. You didn't pay rent, you're out of the solar system. That's nuts. I feel like that's when like weird, creepy cults that run the world are gonna do scary stuff to us. Isn't that what they're into? Every time there's a celestial event, they just kill more of us. En masse. It does seem like kind of a big deal. Pluto is your ruling planet. What's that mean? Are you from there? You immigrated from Pluto. Remember, I thought the world would end back in 2012. People made evacuation centers, people built bunkers, and then we ended up with just a movie. Yeah, and it was so funny because it was like John Cusack was in the movie, who's like, was such a strange, like, action star, quote unquote, you know? I thought he did a good job, but it was just like such a random role for him to take, you know? Yeah, and Y2K. Pluto was reinstated? No way. Don't we have to vote on that? To let them back into the Planetary Union? You just moved your head and the spider was next to me on the wall. Hell no. He was just trying to get a listen to the stream here is all. The grand freak out. Well, it's just strange because it's like, it's strange to think if you want to convince people of anything, all you have to say is a year and end of world. And then maybe like add Mayans to the end of it, and people are like, that sounds good enough to me. Let's pack our shit, kids. Or like in 1999, we're just like, 1999, end of world, computers or something. And they're like, that's all I needed to hear. It was on CNN. Guess I better kill myself. Joel trying to figure out astrology. I don't understand it either. Just figured I'm in Virgo last week. Well, I asked everybody to try to explain it to me last stream, and like all anybody said was like, you know, it's just like, you gotta like, just, you know, you gotta feel it. You gotta sign the bill before you can see what's in it. No, I must know now. All computers are supposed to go down on Y2K. I know, but like, that's all you need to say. You just need to say like, you don't need to say much. And all of us are like, we don't ask why the computers are going down. We don't ask like if we can maybe avoid it. You know, has anybody thought about maybe changing that one piece of code that makes everything explode to like not explode? I just remember even back then, like 5th grade, being like, what the fuck? I will seriously explain it to you, but I can't. I'm in chat format. You know, I think you can, honestly. I think most people could explain their religion, at least the core tenets of it, in chat format. Because you get a decent amount of text. Here, we'll ask Chat GPT. In one paragraph, can you explain to me what astrology believes? Astrology is the belief that the positions and movements of celestial bodies such as planets, stars, and the moon can influence human behavior, personality traits, and life events. It is based on the idea that the universe is interconnected and that cosmic patterns at the time of a person's birth can provide insight into their character and destiny. The zodiac, divided into 12 signs based on the sun's position throughout the year, forms the foundation of astrology, with each sign associated with specific personality traits. Astrologers also study planetary alignments, houses, and aspects to interpret how these cosmic forces shape relationships, careers, and personal growth. While widely regarded as pseudoscience by the scientific community, astrology remains popular for its psychological and symbolic interpretations of human experiences. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's weird, because it's sort of like almost like feels scientific-y in the sense that like somehow celestial bodies and like the gravity would affect how you acted, and which would imply that there's some sort of like effect on your cellular level in some weird way. But at the same time, like how would you define like destinies as well based off of that? And don't you think most of it will just manifest based on like confirmation bias, you know what I mean? Cool screen, thank you. Robin made it. I mean, the moon literally affects the tides, and people really think there's no influence at all on us. I mean, I agree with that, but I wouldn't build a whole ass, part of the newspaper about it every day. I mean, I could see it affecting, like, pressure in our brain. I have heard people, like nurses, always say, it's a full moon. It's a full moon. Patients are getting crazy. What is it, a full moon? Listening every night before bed. Thank you for everything. You're welcome, Stony. Good to see you. And there's Liz. What's up, Lizzie? Lizzie Bobizzy. So I was born when Pluto was rising, so I'm governed by Pluto, now a star. Horoscopes are just entertainment for me. Bro, you are a werewolf. All astrologers are werewolves. My mom thought the moon made me crazy. It was actually her. That makes some sense. I guess if your mom is leaning very heavily into the influence of the moon, I would assume. So, what's up, crime girl? How you doing? Animals go wacko during a full moon. Yeah, what's up with that? I feel like they had to come to some kind of conclusion. People don't get crazy around full moon. Ask first. People do get crazy, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's medical field seems to have some experience with that, but once again, I'm not really sure. How do you think there would be some sort of reasoning behind it? Animals can sense changes we cannot. Animals can smell when I fart way before everybody else, because usually they're the first ones to throw up. Drink the crazy juice. But yeah, guys, we got 4 hotel stories tonight. Can you sing Happy Birthday like Marilyn Monroe for me? Happy birthday, Mrs. Bethany. Is it your birthday, Bethany? Hence, empathetic. I don't know. I feel like empathy would be based more on like pattern recognition, or like understanding of body language, or maybe even just like hormones. I think the moons affect us because we're 90% water and the moon affects tides. Hey, I like that science. I'm on board. I'm in. I mean, I could see that too, affecting like structures of water molecules or something. We got to look into it. We got to get to the bottom of this mystery. But first, let's read some stories about hotels. Huh? Also, we still got... Well, you know what? This could just be our winter guy. I like it too much to get rid of it. Yeah. We need to investigate the moon. We need to look into it. We need to send Elon Musk there to audit it. AER, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. What's up, Judalon? How we doing? Have you read Stolen Tongues? I have not. What's that about? Sounds serial killer-esque. Must get a lot of stories, yeah. And pay people to dig through them. Find the good ones. What's up, Kyles? How we doing? Thank you for being here, guys. Click like, click share, all that good stuff. We're gonna be recording tomorrow's video, same as usual. What's new in your life? Have I tried DeepSeek? I have not yet. I just can't imagine DeepSeek, like, what would it have on it, or what has your experience been that it has on it that was any different than ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff? How was my weekend? It was a good weekend. Just hung out with friends. Found out that my friend... It was crazy. In the same day, he didn't break up with her that day, but my friend has a girlfriend. Who I liked. I met her. She was very nice. And then he said they broke up. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. You know, typical progression of things. And then that same day, come to find out that from her that she was pregnant with his baby. It's like, all right, guess the relationship got a little more complicated. Judalon, thank you for the 2 Canadian. Appreciate you. Reading from Tech Heads that DeepSeek isn't that great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like jumping on another AI thing when I don't really like get. I mean, the only thing I get use out of is jumping into it here with you guys, or having it like dig through articles to like find quick and easy answers. You wanted to know one of the best things that ChatGPT is good for? If you go to YouTube videos, you can, you know, bring up the transcript of the YouTube video, get rid of the timestamps, and then just copy and paste all that text into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you. And you will have like pretty much the best TLDR tool you've ever used. DeepSeek reminds you of the dark web. Why is that? Oh, just the wording or what? Do you like? What's up, Mira? What do you think of the crash in Philly? I have no idea. Did we find out why it crashed? Because, I mean, 2 aviation situations happening near each other, obviously not related, presumably. Why did that medical transport plane crash in Philly? But it's really sad. I mean, the whole situation's fucking sad for both situations. The tragic crash of a medical transport plane in Philadelphia, January 31st, 2025, is under investigation. All right. Preliminary data indicates the plane climbed to approximately 1,500 feet before entering a steep descent and crashing. The cause of the sudden descent remains unknown. Investigators have recovered the cockpit voice recorder and the enhanced ground proximity warning system, which may provide crucial information. Yeah, maybe the dude passed out or something like that. I don't know. The pilot, that is. What can you actually practically use ChatGPT for that you can't get from basic internet tools? I bought a Plus subscription to test it out and haven't really done much other than make silly pictures. Yeah, the silly pictures, and they're not even that good on OpenAI or whatever, but it's really just like siphoning through information quickly. Like one thing that I did, so like I do a lot of PayPal, right, for, you know, getting, you know, paying Robin for thumbnails, paying for assistance with like the creepypastas and the true crime stuff, and, you know, paying Simon consistently to run the podcast side of things, all that kind of stuff. You know, you have a lot of data to siphon through on PayPal, and it's not very good at doing it by itself, which is sad because you think they would have like just a simplistic sort of system that would help you to like search things up based on keyword and all sorts of things. But the best you can do is download a spreadsheet with some basic information on it or whatever, And then you can take that spreadsheet, put it into Chat GPT, and ask it to like sort through the information and tell you like, how much did I pay this year? Like, how much did my subscription to Photoshop or whatever cost, you know? And it will tell you all that data very accurately. Whereas before I was like going through it like by hand, you know, to like calculate things with a fucking calculator with like one of those, you know, accountant hats that they have, smoking a cigarette. Ever thought to go by train? I don't think I've ever been on a train before. I mean, I've been on trams, but like in Baltimore and stuff. Why so many plane crashes in a week? I just think I mean, as far as we know right now, it's just coincidental. It sounds like that Black Hawk that crashed into that like commercial airliner was just not on the same frequency as the air traffic controller, and just, you know, miscommunication, human error, fucking fucked up. And that's as far as we know right now. And then same with the other one. It's just, who knows, we still up in the air as to what happened with Philly. It just so happens that they're very close to each other. What's up, Levi? Trains got fucked in the States as far as being actually usable for commuters, in my opinion. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe the drones. We need to start, I mean, if we have like really good drone technology that's using like anti-gravity, like just start making big ass blimps and sending people on those, you know what I mean? That sounds way more like, and maybe it doesn't need to go as fast, or maybe it does, I don't know. Joel, I heard the audio both at controllers said go to runway 33. Okay, so you're saying that there was two operators communicating with both, or, you know, with opposing helicopter and plane, and they miscommunicated. Which, yeah, I mean, at nighttime, low visibility, all that kind of stuff, you're just kind of... Alright, so you're saying it was the controller side of things. Interesting. Scary stuff, though. I mean, Jesus Christ. Fucking just imagine just being a normal person, just trying to come into DC, get home, and you're just fucking... The worst possible thing that could ever happen after, you know, you're always worried on the flight, like, are we going to crash? And then, oh, we're landing. And then that's like the most dangerous fucking part, is putting down the landing gear. Hey, C-Days, good to see you. Your 15th live stream, really? I swear you've been here for years at this point. You mean 15th in a row? Many, many years ago, I decided to take a road trip from Florida to New Mexico to visit my adopted Aunt Linda. She's my adopted aunt because, well, I didn't have much family growing up, and since she was years older than me and treated me like family, I just started calling her my aunt one day, and it kind of stuck. We first met when we were living in Clearwater, but she developed respiratory problems as she got older and moved to live with an old friend of hers in the drier climates near Albuquerque. We had a sort of tradition of having a fancy day from time to time, where we'd really treat ourselves, go shopping, then go eat somewhere incredibly fancy as like a sort of big morale booster. And when we first met, I wasn't doing so great. I was young and fresh out of a relationship, and part of being my shoulder to cry on was taking our very first fancy day, which fast became a tradition. And so to save enough money as possible on that trip, so I could spend as much money as I wanted while I was in Albuquerque, I started looking for cheaper hotels and motels outside of Shreveport city limits, which is where I usually spent the night after around 12 to 13 hours of driving. I found what I thought was a cute little guest house called the Hotel Deville, and at $20 a night it was considerably cheaper than most of the other options in downtown Shreveport, and it looked considerably nicer too. I called in advance to make sure that they were okay with late check-ins, and I mean late too, because I sometimes didn't make it to Shreveport until late at night or very early in the morning. But then, once they confirmed that they could handle that, I booked a room and was excited to see what the place was like in person. If it was as nice as it looked, then I'd probably be returning. Oops. Anyone planning any flights lately? Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't per se, but I don't know. You have to take it into your hands every time you go up there and just be like, well, this could be the last time I see you. It's crazy how long it's been since one, though. I thought this was live only on Twitch and was very confused in where the comments you were replying to were. Oh yeah, I guess I should bring up Twitch, huh? Just so I can reply over there as well. We got one viewer. Yeah. Cool. One big viewer. Happy Sunday. Twitch is def better on Twitch? What do you mean? This, like, the sound sounds better over there? If it was as nice as it looked, then I'd probably be a returning guest around 2 or 3 times a year. But, as it turned out, I'll never be going back to the Hotel Deville for as long as I live. And so, like I said, I didn't go to Shreveport until late at night, but just as they said I'd be able to, I checked in with what... Crap. Also, I'm gonna link the Twitch over there in case you wanna follow me. Follow me on Twitch. Yippee! Yippee! I'm gonna pin it just so in case anyone needs it. More people die on the roads than the air. I totally agree, yeah. I mean, statistically, yeah, you do, but I mean, are you supposed to speak statistics to the people that are dead in the Potomac? You know how it goes. It's very scary. If it was as nice as it looked, then it'd probably... Oh my god, I can't say this sentence for some reason. If it's as nice as it looked, then I'd probably be a returning guest around 2 or 3 times a year. But as it turned out, I'll never be going back to the Hotel Deville for as long as I live. God damn it, why is my voice already squeaking? Scar says it's better on here. What's better specifically? Would you say it's, would you say the audio sounds better over on Twitch? Oh, dude, we got 16 people on Twitch now. It's crazy. Honestly, I should just have you guys go over there. It sounds immaculate. Perfect. It's like the seating. It's like you're seated right next to me. You could just turn it up really loud. It's like HD. Wonder why. Wonder what... Yeah. I guess it is the official streaming website over there. If it was as nice as it looked, then I'd probably be a returning guest around 2 or 3 times a year. But as it turned out, I'll never be going back to the Hotel Deville for as long as I live. And so, like I said, I didn't get to Shreveport until late at night. But just as they said I'd be able to, I checked in with the late-night desk clerk and was given my room key. The place seemed really nice, but when I asked how many guests they had checked in, the desk clerk said that I had the place to myself. I thought that was kind of odd because nice hotels like that are very rarely empty, but having the place to myself felt kind of luxurious, or maybe more like peaceful. And so instead of overanalyzing the situation, I just went to my room and got ready to take a shower. I didn't unpack right away. I just grabbed what I needed for my shower, which included a toothbrush I hadn't taken out of the wrapper yet. I unwrapped it, opened up the little mini trash can to throw the wrapper away, but noticed that there was no trash bag in there. You know, like the little white kind that goes in the smaller cans like that. And I thought about heading back to the check-in desk to ask the night clerk for one, but then I remembered that I had a little one of my own from CVS that I picked up, my travel toiletries. Oh my god. Yo, Albert, what's good? And Leviathan Horror, thank you for the becoming a member of the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. You know, Matter of fact, let's give you guys a little something, just to boost morale a tad, shall we? Boom shakalaka, there you go. 10 of you beautiful folks have now been gifted with access to bonus content. Welcome Manny, Sun, Scotia, Tater Baby, The Hippie, Bassiestist, Dylan Cook, Crazo, Amy, and Morbid Klaus. Welcome, friends. Don't tell me I never gave you nothing. Please play a song from Chat Music. They are awesome. What's that? I thought about heading back to my check-in desk to... Come on. I thought about heading back to the check-in desk to ask the night clerk for one, but then I remembered that I had a little one of my own from CVS that I picked up my travel toiletries in, so I decided to use that one instead. I opened up the trash can and found it was one of those where you have to sort of slide out the plastic liner before putting a new trash bag in, so that's what I did. But then, I slid out the little black liner. I saw someone had scratched a single word into the plastic. Trafico. Now, from having told this story so many times now, some of you are probably going to be yelling at your phones or computers or TVs or whatever, something like, how could you not know what that means? Well, although I don't speak Spanish, I kind of do know what that means. It's just that what you're probably thinking right now didn't occur to me at the time at all. I was so tired from driving for so long that I honestly just thought, what a weird place to tag something like that. Like, of all the places to scratch your name or probably a nickname by the looks of things, why do it there, where most likely only the hotel's housekeeping would see it? I shrugged it off, put the trash can back together with a bag in it, and then threw away the wrapping and box for my new toothbrush and toothpaste. I then took a shower, walked back into my room, toweled off, and then started looking around for where the room's hairdryer. Trafico. Bean and Wiener's scented perfume. Hell yeah, dude. That's my scent. Bates Motel or sleep in your car. Yeah, does everyone in the Bates Motel get killed, or no? Had a great day, a little weirded out by the plane thing, but I'm good. Yeah. Has anybody had to travel since then, or... Do I watch the NBA? Yeah, I did see that there was a trade for Luka to the Lakers. Which, why did they do that? I don't really watch the NBA, but I did hear about the trade, and I know that Luka is supposedly quite the player. Does that mean that the Lakers are just like insane now, or you fly back from PA? Oh, okay, well, maybe, you know, who knows, maybe shit like this is where everybody's going to be on like high alert, like everyone take their Adderall type thing. Told them not to fly anywhere till they fix the planes. I mean, how would they even know? I then took a shower, walked back into my room, toweled off, and then started looking around for where the room's hairdryer was kept. And since from experience that's usually the deepest drawer or cabinet in the desk or bedside table, that's where I went first. I checked the little cabinet and the bedside table first, and bingo, there was the hairdryer. But after I took it out, I saw that there was a little piece of paper underneath it. Now, my first thought was something like, this better not be a piece of paper that says not working or all that, because I was very much looking forward to actually drying my hair. It's kind of relaxing, sue me. It's kind of relaxing and soothing. But when I took it out and unfolded it, I saw that all it said was, "Help me." And the second I laid my eyes on those words, my heart kind of skipped a beat. I checked the back of the paper, but there was nothing. That's all it said. Help me. And now I looked around the room again, my R's darting. My R's darting. I looked around the room again, my eyes darting to every corner as this sudden feeling that something was badly wrong. I looked around the room again, my eyes darting to every corner as this sudden feeling that something was badly wrong took hold of me. Okay. Sorry. For some reason that was confusing. Planes are way safer. I do not believe that crashes are just coincidence, though, either. Well, I mean, we have the explanation for the first one. Miscommunication, right, from the Black Hawk helicopter side versus the commercial side, which is scary. But, yeah. Joel, if the electricity goes out in the U.S., will you be affected? I assume so. I think isn't the only state that's on its own separate grid is like Texas. Flying within the U.S. was a different experience than flying within Australia. I do remember like getting into Sydney, and like the Sydney, Australia airport was so nice. Like it was so nice. All the employees were nice. They were like happy to see you and pleasant, and you know, we're almost like going out of their way, like employees at like an actual good store, you know, might to like ask you if you needed help or what, you know what I mean? It just like felt very consumer focused, whereas you go to fucking literally any fucking airport in the United States and everyone's like, all right, hurry up, come on, bring it through any day now. And then you're getting like fucking honked at by those like little go-karts that drive around. LAX was an experience. Yeah, LAX is kind of like surprisingly small, if that makes sense. Like it's not as nice as you would anticipate an airport to be. It just feels like cramped. There's a shit ton of people, but it's just like the most like shitty, cramped mall you've ever seen. Hey, see ya, Angel. Take care. Are you into anime cartoons? I like them, but I watch a lot of them and I just like, I don't know, I watch a lot of anime and I just like roll my eyes usually like right out the gate. I really like the good ones, but I feel like so many of them are just, I'm like, holy shit. There was someone that like sat down and wrote this, a whole team that animated this, and this is what we got? Like, what the fuck? Do you ever want to go to Japan for the food? Yeah, for sure, honestly. One Punch Man was one of the best. Yeah, there's a lot of classics out there for sure. But I don't know. I'm just a hater. Honestly, I'm just like a grade A Division 1 hater. I just can't like, it takes a lot for me to just be like excited about new ideas and shows anymore. I almost feel like some of them have to be like either a beautiful spectacle and whimsical and enjoyable, or it has to like have some like very, very deep philosophy in it. Otherwise it just gets kind of cringy. What do you do when TSA finds your butter sock? They better not. That's all I'm saying. They have to be digging pretty deep to find that. O'Hare was huge. Running from one gate to another was a test against time. It was pretty large, yeah. And you have to, I think, yeah, you can take, I do pass through O'Hare quite a bit coming out of Pennsylvania. I love your narrator, just story and how you do it, the right horror thing. Thank you, dude. David, thank you for the 2. Appreciate you. How you doing, dude? We just moved to Cincy. Apparently we have the ghosts of prostitutes from the late 1800s inhabiting the back part of the woods in our backyard. Yikes, bro. Does that mean they're like buried back there or some shit? I looked around the room again, my eyes darting to every corner as this sudden feeling that something was badly wrong took hold of me. I was irrationally terrified that someone was in the room with me, but it was just me, alone with this creepy silence in the air. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't sure if just a note was enough to call the cops over, so I took it down to the front desk to ask the clerk what he thought we should do about this. And the guy was still there, sitting at the desk reading a magazine and looking like he'd rather be at home in bed. I explained the situation, told him maybe someone had been scared or in fear for their life in that room that I was in, but after realizing all I had was a handwritten note, he just sort of dismissed the thing as sort of a little prank. I asked him how he could be so sure that it was nothing to be alarmed over, and he responded by asking if there was anything broken, or any blood, or anything like that. There wasn't. There was only the note. And then when I made that clear, he said that what I'd been... God damn it, I don't know why, there wasn't. There was only the note. Then when I made that clear, he said what I'd been thinking. Okay. Junji Ito. I don't know. I kind of want to meet, Japanese people who, hate anime. That's what I want to meet. I want to, meet, the biggest anime hater ever from Japan and just see what their general thoughts are towards it. Maybe they think it's... I could see some of them thinking that it was, sort of a superficial bastardization of their culture. Will maybe get into storytelling. I just wanted to do YouTube, and this seemed to be the way to go about it. Bet some elderly Japanese folk hate anime. Yeah, probably. It's like before, post-World War II Japan, things were obviously very, very different. How can you go about storytelling? Yeah, you just have to start a channel, get a microphone, get editing software, secure some stories. There's an anime and manga for literally every topic, even politics, so it may be kind of difficult these days. Sometimes I kind of just feel like anime and manga, you don't come across too many popular animes that have stories that are maybe not necessarily holding the viewer's hand per se, because I still remember, and maybe I'm even overcomplicating it, but I just remember Ghost in the Shell. That's just always been one of my favorite animes, just because it felt like there was a lot of exposition to it, but there was also a lot of lack of exposition as well, where it kind of let you fill in the world a tad, on your own, with your own mind, or at least multiple watches to piece it together. You thought my voice was fake? Damn, dude, that sucks. Honestly, sometimes that makes me feel bad because I'm like, shit, dude. That do I differentiate myself from AI narration channels? I hope so. Did you ever watch Inuyasha? I used to watch bits and pieces of Inuyasha growing up whenever Adult Swim and stuff would come on. I think that's just any media outside of the US. Wait, I forgot what are we referring to for that answer? But yeah, shows and movies and stuff outside of the United States has changed quite a bit. No, shows and movies inside the United States, I apologize, is what I meant to say. Just because everything's kind of Hollywoodized, where everything has to be there's no nuance to a conversation anymore. It's just very, brain dead, simplistic, linear thinking. Fist of the North Star, did you ever watch that? I do recall, that's a pretty violent one, correct? A pretty violent anime way back in the day. I do miss those 80s animes that were just I do not give a fuck type animes, if that makes sense. Something where it's just wildly obscurely violent and depraved. I love anime, but this one time I accidentally watched a real gay anime. Almost threw me off anime for good. Thank God there's other Full Metal. A real gay anime. Wonder what that is. Is it just was it like hentai or something? US tends to explain everything rather than let you figure it out, like Ghost in the Shell. True, yeah. And, you know, I get where they're coming from a lot of the times, but it's just, I think the most embarrassing thing is whenever you get like Hollywood movies that like try to explain shit to you pretending you're dumb, but whenever you like realize that the majority of writers in like Hollywood now are like some of the dumbest people you've ever come across, it's just like what the fuck? Like any random person on the internet could write better shit than this, at least without being like cringe. Ninja Scroll, yeah, that was the one. The Ninja Scroll was sick. I never liked anime, but I've watched maybe 3 I liked in the last 10 years that made me feel like that really have to get through to me. Yeah, it's like it's just such a saturated market. You see so many. It's because your voice is so perfect and beautiful. They might think there might be 1,000 computers that work to find and generate the best voice. I appreciate that. Hey, Emily, good to see you. Thank you. Ever watch Lucifer? I don't know. It sounds familiar. Monster is another underrated good anime. It is funny when we start talking anime, you guys do get very animated about it, which I appreciate. But it seems that we have found all of your general interests. I wish I actually knew more about it so I could just sit here and talk to you about it, because I know some people who are like obsessed with anime and can talk for hours, but unfortunately I'm only really more familiar with like the classics. I don't understand how we're in a generation of writers and producers who camp up with the original idea and resort to redoing perfectly great film and TV. I don't know, I think it's this weird mixture of both like financial incentives to create a very specific niche, or not, niche of like ideology and perspectives, but on top of that, I think the investors are also like nervous about doing anything that deviates or takes a risk, which really sucks because like sometimes you need a risk taken to create new IPs. I mean, how many kids do you know who still fucking loves, like young kids, like your friends' kids or your own kids who just like love shit from the 90s or love shit from the 2000s? It seems like new IPs are just like hard to come across lately. Lynn's a mega weeb. It's okay. How many stories tonight? We got 4. Hate when shows make me feel so cringed out that I just turn that shiz off. I know. And I think sometimes the worst part is whenever like everything's pretty decent, but there's just like that one character. Like when I was watching like The Haunting of Hill House, it was actually a pretty solid show with, the non-linear story writing, which was really cool. Which almost made me think of story writing in general. It's like, I guess you could kind of just like write a story linearly, and then all of the sort of like, oh, what's going on with this type parts can just like manifest themselves later as like shocking revelations, when in reality you've already kind of like, you've already seen it play out or whatever, if that makes sense. But that show was pretty solid to me, but there was the one character of like the sister who like felt things. I don't know if you're familiar with the show, not to spoil it or anything, but like she just felt very cringe, very like a pigeon, like, what do you call it? Like just very shoehorned in there. She's like this tough, sexy, can't do any wrong, don't take no shit type character who is also an alcoholic. But I'm like, bro, I don't think you guys know fucking alcoholics. Yeah, the Cleo character I just couldn't get down with. Like every alcoholic I've ever met doesn't have their fucking shit together, and they're definitely not that hot. Like pigeon-horned. Yeah, when they pigeon-horn a character. Oh yeah, Theo, sorry. Like her younger character made sense when she was a kid, like, because she's just, everybody's like a innocent soul within the house and stuff, but like later on it just, I don't know, it didn't really feel like they took time to like flesh out any sort of character identity with her beyond just like very baseline concepts. That's his wife. Yeah, I did hear it was like the writer's wife or whatever, which makes you wonder, like, did she write herself into the show? I hope not. That'd be kind of sad. Remember, alcoholics are not that hot. I mean, it's true. I mean, like, if you're just like always drinking alcohol all the time, it like fucks up your hormones. You're like a sloppy mess. You're, you gain weight, and it's just, you don't look like that. You don't look like a model. There wasn't. There was only the note, and then when I made that clear, he said what I'd been thinking. That it wasn't enough to call the cops over, so unless I wanted to check out or move rooms, there wasn't much else that he could do for me. I walked back to my room and just sort of sat there for maybe 10 to 15 minutes and then repacked my stuff and actually checked out. I literally felt like I was about to be the star of my own horror movie. I've listened to enough of your podcasts to know what happens next. Like I was about to get the dumb female supporting actress whose sheer ignorance and naivety gets her chopped to pieces in the opening 10 minutes. I'm not saying the clerk was in on it, and it was some kind of murder hotel like the H.H. Holmes freaks that DiCaprio is set to play. I don't really know what the H.H. Holmes. I'm just going to take that part out. I don't feel like anybody's going to know what that is. Is DiCaprio going to play in a new H.H. Holmes? What is H.H. Holmes? Is that a doctor? Oh, for the murder house where they like cut people into pieces and stuff. We read that on the channel, right? Yeah, serial killer, con artist. That shit is fucked up. I'm actually curious to see. Oh my god, I feel like DiCaprio is going to play that really well. He honestly does like evil people surprisingly well, in my opinion. I feel like that story will be quite interesting. A lot of people know who that is. Alright, I'm going to put it back in. Good point. I'm not saying the clerk was in on it, or it was some kind of murder hotel like H.H. Holmes. So, sorry. I'm not saying the clerk was in on it, and it was some kind of murder hotel like that H.H. Holmes freak that DiCaprio is set to play in that new movie. I just grabbed my bag and hurried out to my car and then drove until I found a quiet spot by the side of the road, away from any buildings, just trees and darkness. And I parked and locked the doors, and ironically, I felt way safer out there in my small car than that sort of eerie hotel room. I know I could have just drove back to Shreveport to maybe find some place there, but I was just so tired, and I couldn't face the disappointment of going through the whole ordeal to just pay over the odds. What does it say? Go through the whole ordeal just to pay over the odds. I don't know what that is. What's up, Sarah? How we doing? There's a video game about H.H. Holmes? Really? That's weird. That's weird. You're 29 days sober, lost 11 pounds in like 1 month, crazy, not all or skinny. Yeah, I mean, I know sometimes like alcoholics can be like malnourished or whatever, and hence not really like holding on to weight, but I feel like a lot of them mess up their hormones with the alcohol, slow down diet, your digestion, and then also eat shitty too, and it's just no exercise, and it's just kind of a downhill road from there until you get well. I know I could have drove back into Shreveport to maybe find some place there, but I was just so tired and couldn't face the disappointment of going through the whole ordeal just to pay a bunch for a crappy hotel room. I tried to sleep, But even with how exhausted I was, it took me way longer than it should have. I couldn't stop thinking about that note, and I settled on the thought of I really hoped it was a prank. Because the idea of thinking someone had left that note there, genuinely, and I found it out way too late, it just made me sick to my stomach. With the attitude the clerk took of just, oh well, it was probably just a prank, it's no wonder you hear all these horror stories about women getting kidnapped and trafficked in those kind of places. Oh yeah, and back to that trafico thing written inside of that, fuck man. I don't know why, I fucking hate when people write, like they write their stories like they're talking. I don't even know anybody that, like, I don't know, even text messages, or writing your stories like a text message, it just seems weird. And like, sort of, just adding these like sort of additive words. Maybe they're doing it via like voice to voice note type writing. I don't know. The Devil in Me is best video game. It's realistic. The Devil in Me. What do you do in that one? Mexican hot chocolate. What's that? That sounds like something you would find on Urban Dictionary. Oh yeah, and back to that trafico thing. So when things finally went down on what that word really meant, I actually called the hotel to tell them how I thought both the note and scratched trafico word might be connected. It wasn't the same clerk that was on duty the night that I checked in, but I told them what Roomba. You don't realize it, Joel, but you are a genuine motherfucker. Thank you, Albert. So are you. Genuine motherfucker. I remember when fat was an awesome thing. Bring it back. That would be nice. I wouldn't mind to like see, different generations bringing back old vernacular. I don't know why. Like, there's certain ones, and I sit there and like kind of talk shit on the new words a lot of the times, but then I find that I just end up saying it later on, like months down the road, just because you hear it so often. It eventually just like ironically makes it into your mouth. But one that kind of, I don't even know, someone saying like, oh, that chocolate milk was tough. Yo, that chocolate milk was tough. Or did you see that new hit from the Fleet Foxes? That shit was tough. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not tough at all. I could chew it up and spit it out like gum. Like fucking cud from a cow. You still use old slang, you're 36. Well, you're a manifestation of your times. I know so many people who are my age. I'm 34, right? I know so many people my age who like, they'll send me memes, and the memes will be shit from like, lolcats, like very millennial core shit from like back in the day, like 55, just because they haven't really taken the time or cared to like keep up with any sort of modern humor at all, which is fine. I like the old swag. Yeah, I like the old swag. But I think it's more fun to just like kind of keep up with culture and hear all the new shit, because it's, you can find comedy in all sorts of age brackets. You use old slang from the north of England. Good. Fucking hell. Give her a good old ribbon, would ya? If you like Mexican hot chocolate, watch the movie Chocolate with Johnny Depp. It wasn't the same clerk that was on duty the night that I checked in, but I told them what room number I was staying in and where exactly the word had been scratched. And the nice lady told me to wait a minute while she went to check the room, and then came back a minute or so later to tell me that I must be mistaken. I said, no, I think you're mistaken, ma'am, and then told her a second time exactly where the scratched word was. She told me that she had the exact trash can that I was talking about on the desk in front of her, and it hadn't been emptied yet and still had my toothbrush rapture. Fucking shit. I hit 2 years of sobriety on January 13th. Never thought I'd be here. Yeah, congratulations. Stay focused. Fill your time with other hobbies. Exercise, spirituality, whatever you need, you know. Creative endeavors. Just something to replace it for the old bad stuff. I soiled me knickers, love. I fucking straight caca in them. That's what they say. A lot of the Queen would say that when she would shit her diaper. She'd call it caca. She'd give you a coy smile and tell you to fucking eat it like pudding. And she'd laugh like that. Like she sold shit. She sold her shit out of a big jacket that she would open up. What are you buying? What are you selling? Alright. Alright, your podcast get me through the night. Recent widow. Oh, I'm sorry, Lana. I apologize to hear that, but I'm glad we can be there for you. She told me that she had the exact trash can I was talking about on the desk in front of her. It hadn't even been emptied yet, and still had my toothbrush wrapper in it. She pulled out the plastic insert I was talking about, but according to her, there was nothing on it. And that's when I realized. Either she was lying to me, or the clerk on duty that night had swapped it out as soon as I'd walked out of the building. And whichever it was, I wasn't getting anywhere with that lady, so I just thanked her for her time and hung up, and just kept on driving towards Albuquerque. I told my Aunt Linda all about it when I finally got to her, and she took all that confusion and fear away within... Peaky Blinders. I need to watch that show, honestly. When I was in England, I tried a pair of jeans, but they call them trousers, and I asked the lady who was about to try on clothes if I can quickly grab my pants, and she thought I said, Is there a difference between trousers and that? Good show. Good show. I told my Aunt Linda all about it when I finally got to her, and she took all that confusion and fear away with 5 little words. You did the right thing. Even if it was just some dumb prank, I did the right thing in alerting the clerk and then getting out of there when I didn't feel safe anymore. And then for all I knew, the person who wrote that note did so a long time before I found it, in which case their situation could have quite easily resolved itself. Linda helped me rationalize it, square it away in my head, and then after that I started to feel a little better. And I'm not saying I'm haunted by what happened because, like I said, I don't know for certain what I found that night. But even today I still wonder if I came across something very, very dark, and only just touched the surface of what's going on at that hotel. Pantaloons. Trousers, what you call pants. And what's knickers? Is that like a nightgown or something? Breeches. Breeches get stitches. Oh, actually they do. That's actually kind of a good point. Breeches do get stitches to fix up any tears. Oh, knickers is underwear. Interesting. I wonder why more of that shit, like more of the vernacular, like the words you guys used, didn't transfer more directly to the United States conversation. I mean, I guess it would make sense that the United States was comprised of so many different cultures using a ton of different types of words that may have evolved over time in the 250 years or whatever. Or how long has it been? Yeah, I guess it's been a while. Alright, well that's story one, not very scary. I feel like if there was like maybe someone that like came through and they had people with them and that was questionable, then that would sound more like human trafficking, but just like a creepy note by itself I feel like is not very scary. I don't know. It's just a lot of fluff sometimes whenever like nothing occurs. Have you heard what they call car parts? They call hoods bonnets and trunks boots. I can understand that, some sort of comparison to clothing. Say, in the same way we say like at the foot of the bed or whatever. At the asshole of Albuquerque. Can't believe I watched your channel for 7 years. That is a long time. That is crazy. A lot of their slang is hilarious. I do enjoy it. It's fun to emulate, and it's almost like impossible to. I mean, I sometimes wonder, like, if people from the UK are as obsessed with American accents as Americans are obsessed with their accent, because like just like the second that we hear it, it's like hearing somebody's from the UK and we're just like sitting there listening to them and we're like shaking, we're like they're talking about their day and we're like bowl water, bowl fucking water. I'm like, what? Yeah, alright, mate. What's the matter? Sorry, I couldn't hold it anymore. You guys say bottle of water really funny, and it's just like, I gotta fucking say it. You like certain American accents? Do you have a favorite American accent? I'm pretty sure I was introduced to your channel in 2018, 7 years ago. Damn. Everybody's 7 years ago. Whoa. I want to see that like in slow motion or something, like what British people see when Americans get off of like their international flights or something coming in from like London. But like in the slow motion we have like perfect teeth though. Our teeth are beautiful. And they're just staring at them like, oh, it's so pretty and white. Shiny. I'm Welsh, but in the States I like Southern accents. Yeah. Southerns are pretty cool because you get a lot of variation there. I mean, I guess you get, let's think, what are all the different accents that we can think of on like major areas of the US? Obviously there's fluctuations, but I mean, yeah, you can kind of say like down south, like Tennessee is going to sound a little bit different than Texas or whatever, which is going to sound different than like California, and what's like the Midwestern, like, oh yeah, for sure, how you doing? Oh yeah, good to see you. It's kind of close to Canada, but not quite, yeah, for sure. And then fucking, yeah, up, what's New England like? Oh, dude, you can't fucking kidding me, dude. That's so ridiculous, dude. Get the fuck out of the way. But then I feel like it kind of bleeds into all the differing accents of like the boroughs of New York, you know what I mean? And I'm sure everybody, yeah, Minnesota. Seattle needs a basketball team again? True. What's a Pennsylvania accent? What the hell do they say? They have different things. Like some of it, like the older people, and this doesn't really translate to like the younger, like country folk. You know what I mean? Like the older country folk will say "warsh," like we warsh that. I hear people's grandparents say that. Yeah, yins is like I'll say that ironically, but yins is like a Pittsburghian thing. It's not even like an entirety of the Pennsylvania. Yins kind of originates from Pittsburgh. You know, oh yeah, we go down there and no, what the fuck? I can't even. What the hell? I can't even do the accent. They do, yeah. It's fun, or it's funny. Like people from the country, in almost all areas, do have just like some sort of country accent. It's like it's not universal. There are variations to it, but as soon as you go outside of the city limits of almost any United States state, there's just like some small amount of like very clear country twangy pronunciation to words. And you know, it's endearing and funny, but it's interesting. Yeah, downtown. That there doohickey. Joyzy, yeah. I can do a pretty good Knoxville accent. I used to hang out with folks from Tennessee. Yeah, it makes it easier when you're around them, you know. It's like when Arnold from Hey Arnold could do like a perfect impression of his grandpa. Hey, football head. That's not it, though. You just moved to Pittsburgh. Yins is all over. Yeah. Eastern Kentucky. Do I have PSDS? Post-traumatic dingle squingle. I do. I have that exact diagnosis. I was born with it. It's congenital. It's not tama. It's weird. Like I know the accent of like the Pennsylvania vibe, but it's just like not coming to me right now. And people consider my accent like pretty neutral, I would say. Like some people struggle very hard to pinpoint it. PSDS. Pop in soda here. Wait. What's PSDS? I have Nintendo DS. Fucking wicked sick, dude. Fucking wicked sick. Alright. Hi, let's read. My name is Dinesh, and I was born in Sri Lanka, but I've been living and working in Mumbai, India for the last 20 years. My daughter came across your YouTube channel around Halloween of last year, and at first, I wasn't sure if she would be watching. If she should be. I still remember the person who came into my chat to say that they were saying goodbye because they were like younger, and their parents had like walked in while they were listening to the stream, and I was just like saying some like out of left field crazy shit or something like that, and they were like, yeah, okay, you're done listening to whoever the fuck this is. Joel Rogan. Joel Jones. My voice is yuppie. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I guess it depends on what the definition of yuppie is. You cannot do an Australian accent to save any more is potty trick because I've already forgot how to speak normal. Everything's got to be phrased in a question. A bit curious, don't you think? Don't you think? A bit strange. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like everything's got to finish with an upward inflection. And your face has always got to be a bit squinted, both based on how you say the words, but also because the sun's real bright in your fucking eyes. Fish and chair. Just been using voice changer the whole time. Actually sounds like a little chipmunk. I have partial accent syndrome, so I pick up random accents. Where'd you get that? Is that like similar to... Is that like Down syndrome? Sound like Ray from Mr. In Between? My daughter came across your YouTube channel around Halloween of last year, and at first, I wasn't sure if she should be watching such scary stories. But since she started watching, her this is the worst word, I need to hear it. That word murders me, bro. I'm a mimic. I'm a bit mimicky. Colloquial. There we go. God. It's pretty to look at. I like all the vowels and the Q, the random Q. Imagine spelling that word out in, what's that game called? Jenga? What's the one where you, like, put the letters down on the board? Imagine spelling that out. You'd be, like, in first place instantaneously. Lynn, thank you for the 5. Says I have a coworker who's Australian and I have to resist going into the accent myself when we talk. Honestly, yes, Scrabble. There you go. Imagine spelling colloquial in Scrabble. Honestly, just go into the accent. They don't care. They love it. They love it when you mock them. Everyone does. Oh, crikey. Okay, colloquial. There we go. But since she started watching, her colloquial English has improved a lot, and I'm happy to say that you're having something of a positive influence in her life. There's also another, albeit a little bit of an unusual reason why I'm... God damn it. There's also another, albeit a little bit of an unusual... Why does that sound like... For some reason the flow just feels so weird to my brain. And that's the fact up. And that's... There's also another, albeit a little bit of an unusual reason why I'm happy she is watching your channel, and that's the fact uptake viewer submission. Oh, the fact that you... Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. There's also another, albeit a little bit of an unusual reason why I'm happy she's watching your channel, and that's the fact that you take viewer submissions. She's 14 years old now, and although we have a fairly good relationship, there have been times when we've gone through some strain. Now, for example, when she was 12, she got into a habit of slamming her bedroom door whenever she was angry with school or her friends or what have you. Every time she did, which wasn't very many times, I was absolutely livid, more furious than she had ever seen me before. She felt victimized, and I can understand. Her brother has broken a window with his cricket ball before, and I didn't get as angry as I did. And I tried explaining that it was the sound that bothered me so much, but she didn't understand and wouldn't accept my apology. But she doesn't understand because there's something Oh my God. She, I can't even... Your comment got removed for vulgar language. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like auto filters for bad words and stuff. Like, I don't think you can... Bonkers and fucking yonkers. In a Pittsburgh accent. I don't even know what are you yins doing down there? Bonkers and fucking yonkers. Fuck yeah, dude. I don't know what Pittsburgh accent honestly sounds like. I don't know, I don't really even recollect, like I don't even pick up necessarily an accent in Pittsburghianese. Is there like a particular celebrity that might jump out in the Pittsburghian accent? Andrea Romano, who cast Kevin Conroy, Phil Lamar, and Maria Canals Barrera, also said you can tell when people have voices of character. Joe has it. Am I Joe? Thank you. Alfred. Dude, I miss fucking Kevin Conroy, dude. That Batman voice will just like forever be so iconic to me. Alfred. We have to go, Alfred. Freeze! No, that's not. I just remember him screaming freeze whenever, like, it was funny that he was like sad that like Mr. Freeze fell and supposedly died in an explosion, but I don't think he did. Alfred. Robin. What happens when you get gifted the membership? You get access to bonus content, which is like the playlist. The horse is here. Sorry. Alfred. We ran out of toilet paper, Alfred. Hand me some. Right away, Mr. Wayne. I always wondered that about, like, Alfred, like, why he stuck around with, like, Bruce Wayne. I get it. Like, he's connected to quite a bit, but, you know, that family and, you know, long history to it. But you think I don't know. Does Alfred get, like, did you ever wonder, like, does Alfred get horny? Does anyone ever wonder that? Does he just jerk off upstairs and he's like still wearing his butler outfit? And he's like, oh dear, I've made quite the mess. I can't let Master Bruce see this. I better clean myself up and attend to matters deep within his cave. Alfred! Don't come in, Alfred. I'm busy. I'm looking at forensic evidence or... Get the fuck out of here, Alfred. Lynn, thank you for the gifter to Erica S. And the 5 gifters to Creepy Clown Girl, Brock Schaefer, Kyle Makar, or is it Kale Makar, Solo Segura, and Haley Johnson. You guys now have access to bonus content. Be sure to thank Lynn. Honestly, I wish they would have done like more episodes kind of digging into like Alfred's life, and maybe if even that would have been sick if you gave him, you know, Alfred some type of like robotic body or something so he could help Batman fight shit. Or who knows, maybe in like Batman Beyond. Bitches love Batman Beyond. Maybe Alfred, he gets his like brain put into a jar or something. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Hey Shorn, what's up, dude? Did they make an Alfred show? Really? Jesus Christ, they made every show. Every character. Soon the like little ventriloquist mob guy is gonna have a fucking show of his own. But she doesn't understand. But she doesn't understand. Okay. But she doesn't understand because there's something she doesn't know. And it concerns something that happened to me just a few years before she was born. Something that resulted in me suffering from a very prolonged and very acute post-traumatic stress disorder. For the life of me, I can't find it in myself to tell her what had happened to me. And so instead, I think I might ask you to do it for me. I used to be employed as a floor supervisor at the Taj Mahal Hotel here in Mumbai, and I first got the job in early 2008 when I was still just the tender age of 24 years old. I was very proud of myself to attain such a lofty position at such a young age, because it came with a lot more prestige and pay due to the heightened responsibility. It could be very stressful at times, because my bosses could be very hard on me, but it meant that I could seriously consider starting a family as my salary and lodgings had made me a very eligible bachelor. Just under a year into working there, I thought I could see myself working here for a long time. But then one night, everything changed. It was around 9:30 p.m. when it started. The hotel was bustling with guests and staff, and we were all very busy, and it was business as usual. Then suddenly we heard what sounded like firecrackers coming from the lobby downstairs. But our confusion turned to pure terror when we realized it wasn't firecrackers, it was gunfire, and our terror only intensified as the sounds drew closer. I was in the lobby when I saw people running, their faces painted with panic, and I remember the distinct smell of gunpowder drifting in the air. I remember ducking behind the reception desk. My heart was pounding at a mile a minute, and over the chaos I could hear guests screaming as they tried to make sense of what was happening. The terrorists were members of a group who called themselves Lashkar-e-Taiba. I don't know. Lashkar-e-Taiba. Have you guys heard of this? You heard of this group? It's like a boy band. Lashkar-e-Taiba. How to say You still feel tender at 35. There's still a lot of, like, in my opinion, there's still a lot of potential for, like, making big, quick changes to your health at the age of 35. And I mean that earnestly. Like, if you're 35 and you're starting to feel even remotely old, if you were to make, like, those changes both to, like, diet and exercise now, you're going to be thanking yourself down the road, because your body's going to be much more receptive to it now rather than, you know, responding to it later. Lashkar Taiba. Okay, Lashkar-e-Taiba. Alright. Sweet. Freaking sweet, Peter. You're 45, always felt young at heart. I mean, as long as you're staying active, like, you can really maintain like, whatever you consider yourself and your capabilities for a long time. And I think that's what's so important about, like, physically training, is that you can stick with that and maintain that and make progress as well in your training well into later years, you know. Jared Little's in the chat. Yeah, Jared is ageless, but that's probably because he bathes in blood. Lashkar-e-Taiba, okay. The terrorists were members of a group called... God damn it. These terrorists were members of a group who called themselves Lashkar-e-Taiba, who are a Pakistani-based militant group, and after forcing their way through the main entrance of the hotel, they began firing indiscriminately. They had automatic weapons, and their bullets tore through marble and wood, and the destruction from just a few bullets was horrifying. They tore that hotel apart. They were part of a group of 10 attackers who had arrived in Mumbai via sea, more like a commando operation than a terrorist one, and they instead of attack. They were part of a group of 10 attackers who arrived in Mumbai via sea, more like a commando group operation than a terrorist one. They instead of attacking military policers. Oh, then instead. Man. What do you think about intermittent fasting? Your doctor suggested. I think it's good. I mean, like, when it comes to your hormones, insulin plays a huge role in just your body's ability to process carbohydrates, as well as just responding to food in general, you know what I mean? So, like, there's so many issues that your body can go through whenever you have, like, elevated or consistently elevated insulin levels. I mean, obviously, besides the fact that you'll probably be in, like, a calorie deficit if you were to do, like, a intermittent fasting situation. On top of that, you'll be able to, like, resensitize your body to the production of, like, insulin, as well as the one interesting part about, like, when your body becomes, like, more insulin resistant, kind of, you know, heading towards becoming a diabetic, like type 2, your insulin becomes, like, less capable of, like, pulling out the glucose from your bloodstream. And then whenever that glucose is just, like, freely floating through your bloodstream, it kind of has, like, negative effects in the sort of circulatory system concept, in the sense that it will attach itself to, like, the ground cells of, like, your vessels and veins and that kind of thing, and basically bind to what you would call, like, an epithelial cell, or, like, the collagen that, like, makes up the elasticity of the really, really small microscopic like vessels as blood passes through. So the idea is that as there's more glucose there, it makes your veins more sticky and more rigid. So like as shit passes through there, it can like get more stuff can get stuck and like cause blockages, as well as being like less elastic as like a balloon and more hard like a hose or something. And then you just like have a greater chance of having like cardiovascular issues, or as you've seen with like some diabetics, they at like the further distances away from your heart where it's like harder to pump blood to, like your toes and your fingers, you start your blood vessels start to like harden over, and then the blood basically like the blood flow like stops going to that area, and then that area can like die, you know what I mean? I guess it'd be kind of like coagulation, but it would be like all of like different things would attach to those like sticky areas of the rigid blood vessel, like cholesterol and shit like that, you know what I mean? So the idea basically is like the less excess carbs you consume, and you know, give your body also time to sort of like recoup via fasting, the hope is that you'll be able to like live longer and have a healthier cardiovascular system. Yeah, you know, it's not to say that you can't still like find success through like just calorie counting, but sometimes if you can sort of enhance that through like promoting healthy hormones with fasting, as well as like incorporating weight resistance training to build muscle so that your body has like more areas to store glucose like within your muscles or your liver and that kind of thing as well. I mean, one thing I need to do more is definitely cardio. I've gotten away from it. Honestly, I've been doing, I can ramble on forever about stupid shit, but I think I might do more cardio, like just get back into consistent cardio this week as just part of my routine. Just take fucking CrossFit classes, like whatever. They were part of a group of 10 attackers who arrived in Mumbai via sea, more almost like a commando operation than a terrorist one, and then instead of attacking military, police, or infrastructure, they were gunning only for the innocent, unarmed civilians. And from my hiding spot, I saw some of my colleagues on the ground, and I couldn't tell if they were just taking cover or if they were hurt. Then I saw one of the terrorists dressed in black with a backpack, firing at the chandeliers and laughing as the glass pieces shattered. And that's when I realized that they were crazy, maybe high on drugs or something too, because they were shooting at anything. Perhaps in frustration because there weren't as many people as they hoped gathered in that lobby that evening. I managed to dial the emergency number, and I whispered our location and the situation to the dispatcher, begging them to send help as quickly as possible. And the next thing I did was the only thing I could think of to help prevent more losses of life, and I went back into the hotel's corridors to help guests find a way through the staff corridors and away from the gunfire. You see, the terrorists were not just shooting randomly. They were systematically moving through the hotel, searching for foreigners. I could hear them shouting in Urdu, demanding to know where foreign guests were staying, particularly British and Americans, and they were looking for high-profile targets, tourists, and anyone who could be considered an enemy. Myself and a handful of guests hid in one of the staff-only areas, trying to stay silent, listening to the attackers moving through the hotel. We could hear their voices whenever they got close to our hiding place, and it made me tremble with fear every time they fired a shot. We began to smell smoke after a while too, and realized that they had set fires because the smell of gasoline, or some type of accelerant, I'm not certain, was very pungent in some areas. They seemed to be moving from room to room on the lower floors, breaking into guest rooms in the restaurant areas and then setting the place on fire, in the hopes the entire hotel might burn down. I heard them in the Wasabi by Morimoto. Morimoto, okay. Okay. A wasabi pole. Okay. I heard them in the Wasabi by Motel. It's the upscale Japanese restaurant where they had taken hostages, forcing guests to the ground and shooting some if they moved or didn't comply. But anyone who had a Western passport on their person, they were executed without any questions. After a while, we started to hear explosions. These terrorists had brought hand grenades with them, and they were throwing them down corridors to flush out anyone hiding. I saw one explode near the kitchen area where some of my colleagues had taken refuge, and the blast was followed by screams and then silence. The terrorists then set up positions on the upper floors, using the vantage point to shoot at anyone trying to escape, and then shooting at the police as they began their response. There were reports of them shooting from windows at people below or at any movements outside, and it seemed like they intended to hold the hotel. How's Pradeep? He's good. He is. Oh, that's funny. So like he normally lays on like this like sort of foot recliner near the couch. And right now I only had like one sort of small sliver of like a sweatshirt laying on it rather than like a lot. So normally he's like sprawled out on it, but it's just funny that he's like specifically like mirroring the space of the sweatshirt in a skinny style. I don't know, it's just really funny that he like didn't want to lay on anything else except the shirt. Do my stream poop. I got put on Ritalin and have consistently been able to fast and lose weight while staying active. I also changed to eating all non-GMO grown myself. So far so good. Interesting. I guess the Ritalin might do it if it's like a, you know, a derived or, you know, a meth derivative or whatever. I feel like you got to be careful with those. Taking speed, essentially. There were reports of them shooting from windows at people below or at any movements outside, and it seemed they intended to hold the hotel and use it as a stronghold so the killing could continue. At one point, this was perhaps the most chilling moment for me personally, the terrorists used the hotel's internal communication systems, or the PA, to taunt and threaten us. They said all Hindus were allowed to leave the building, as long as they told the terrorists where any Western guests were hiding. And I must have shown some kind of silent reaction on my face or in my eyes, because one of the Western guests started to beg me in a sort of whisper, "Please don't leave us." I told her I would not, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart, not just because I would not be able to live with myself, but because I knew it was a lie. There was no way that they would miss the opportunity to shoot somebody like me, especially now that the police were outside shooting back. Leaving my hiding place meant certain death, so I stayed right where I was and prayed for a quick ending. Eventually, the sounds of the Indian security forces engaging the terrorists reached us, and it was a mix of relief and terror knowing that while help was here, the situation was far from over. We stayed low, praying for it. When a phenomenal character design and the subtle moves mimics us real movement in IRL, like keep up on the phenomenal narrations as it's nice, you're not AI voice clone corrupted. Thank you, dude. That's true. We should boycott all AI voices. Boycott, boycott. Have I given Pradeep clothing? Like to wear? Like a little cute little kitty sweatshirt? No. I think I tried to put like some sort of butterfly wings on him for like Halloween one time, and he just like falls over and tries to rip it off himself. Sadly. Yeah, a little sombrero. That'd be cute. Making a pretty plushie. I don't know. I was kind of hoping to change up my avatar at some point this year with some custom art from somebody who does like painting and can kind of like nail that, 70s sci-fi vibe. Like the almost, what do you call it? Like dark fantasy, if you've seen a lot of that art going around. No more locked doors? What do you mean? What happened? You want your voice for your TTS? You want your own, my voice for TTS? That would be good. I honestly do sometimes wish I could like sell it for something. But I guess it would also be kind of like selling your soul. Forever. It was a mix of relief and terror knowing that while help was here, the situation was far from over, and so we just stayed low, praying for it to end. When the shooting had finally stopped, we heard men speaking Hindi and English telling us to come out and that they were the police, and the relief that we felt was monumental, a feeling I will never forget. The once grand Taj was now a mess of bullet holes and blood and broken glass. I saw some colleagues that were injured, others I would never talk to again. The aftermath was a blur of helping where I could, guiding dazed guests to safety, and basically anything I could. The aftermath was a blur of helping where I could, guiding dazed guests to. Man, what the fuck? I had a black cat named Binks, and he got stuck in a hangar and just laid there until help arrived. That's funny. He was like, they should be along here any moment now. How have I been? I've been good, honestly. Today I went to visit my one buddy who lives kind of like an hour away, but he had his second baby, which is pretty crazy. So he has one that just turned 2, and then another that's pretty close birthday, but sort of a newborn. And she was, really good, surprisingly. Just like, kind of would start to like cry about stuff, but then immediately just like fall back asleep. Thought this was pre-recorded. Your voice is crazy, brother. Keep amazing vids. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, I went to dinner with family. That was nice. On Friday. It was actually a pretty solid weekend, Oh, what about you guys? You do anything cool coming up? Solid BM weekend. Solid bowel movement weekend. The aftermath was a blur of helping where I could, guiding dazed guests to safety, and basically anything I could to delay my own emotional reaction. That was my way of dealing with it, being selfless, completely forgetting myself, because when I remembered it all, when I allowed myself to process what had happened to me, it was just too devastating. And the days that followed were filled with grief, and every time I tried to sleep, the nightmares would have me reliving the whole situation all over again. And the hotel, like the wider city, has healed, but the memory of that night has remained a constant in my life ever since, and the same is to be said for all those who have lived through those attacks. It was something I lived through, and I have talked about it with others, but I don't know how to tell my daughter why her father is the way he is. And so maybe, after this, she will understand why I got so angry when she slammed the door. It wasn't anger that she was seeing, it was fear, because that noise took me right back to the Taj, on what I thought would be my last night on Earth. You have an 8-month and almost 3-year-old. That's cute. You have a 2-year-old. Yeah, it's nice whenever they're like close in age like that, you know what I mean? Because, they can kind of look out for each other and not be like too distant as far as communicating. I mean, they might fight and stuff, but obviously you just have to like, honestly, I've always been curious if siblings like fight really hard. Do you just like try to do fun things with them where they're both involved, so they kind of just like team bond or something like that? Like, what do you do? You saw the plane that crashed in Philly? I did, yeah. We were talking about it earlier. We don't really have any answers for it yet as to what the heck happened. I don't think it's connected to the one in DC, just because it was like a kind of a commuter plane between like medical facilities. I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong, but I don't think that was the same. What's up, Miss Rage? What's going on? I got a 2-year-old nonstop marathon. I swear I'm in the best shape of my life at 35. Hell yeah. That's all you needed. Keep you busy. That looked like a rocket. Oh, really? You know, I mean, I guess it would if it's like a small enough plane and it's coming down at like crazy speeds. It would just like, because they said it like went up to what, 1,500 feet or something in the, or how was it, 15,000? I forget how high they got up in the air, and then it just like catapulted down. My brother and I are a year apart. We fought horribly. He gave me a black eye once. That's awesome. I mean, it's terrible, but I'm sure you'll go look back on it and laugh. Did you figure out like what it was that eventually brought you guys together? And reflecting back to your younger years when you fought a lot, do you think there was something that could have been done differently, that you guys could have maybe been like best of friends? You know what I mean? 1,300 feet. Yeah, it doesn't seem like much for it to just immediately plummet down, you know what I mean? Unless they sort of like stay in that low elevation as they traverse between facilities. We're super close now, that's good. All it took was just one MMA fight to figure it out. I got 4 kids. My boys are 18 months apart. The younger ones is who I give the middle name Joel to from listening to you. Oh, dude, hey, thank you for that. That's really kind. Hey, Mom, where'd I get my middle name? Oh, it's just from the coolest YouTuber on the internet. That's crazy. Someone named their cat, I think, after me, too. Oh, and Jacob hasn't been here in forever, but he named his daughter Jolene. Quote, unquote. I bring it up from time to time to tease him. He feels horrible. That's funny. I wonder what even happened that he was like motivated to just punch his sister in the face. That's crazy. You know, there was one in Alaska also crashed. Didn't see much info on that one. Really? Let's look that up. What did a plane crash in Alaska recently? I have nightmares of my brother attacking me. He's a crazy schizophrenic. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. January 28th, 2025 was 5 days ago. Oh, an F-35A Lightning II fighter jet crashed at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska during a training exercise. Okay, the pilot experienced an in-flight malfunction during the landing phase, declared an emergency, and successfully ejected before they... Okay, so once again, these are not all related. But yeah, I assume like once we, you know, once you see a face on the moon, you're looking for faces everywhere kind of thing, in every crater. So I'm sure a lot of these things occur. I mean, this was a military exercise. The other one was a, well, presumed a miscommunication, and the other one was a medical transport. So, I mean, once we start, I'll start getting nervous when I start seeing a shit ton. Well, I don't want to say a shit ton because God forbid, but just more. Once another commercial flight goes down from something fucking weird, that's what's going to scare me a little bit. Especially if they start saying that like planes are being hacked to like malfunction. I hope not, man. That would suck. A plane at the altitude of 30,000 feet or above can hit the ground in less than 6 seconds because traveling over 5. Yeah, and I'm sure that would look like a missile. Do I live in Philly? I do not, no. China. I saw like a Facebook reel. Who knows the legitimacy of it, but I just remember hearing about like something upwards of like 500 different like transformers, you know, like that for power, had like backdoor access from like China, and the possibility of like them just being like all remotely turned off or whatever, knocking out the power, which would fucking suck. Honestly, it might be wise for everyone in this chat to get like a generator at some point, one that runs on like kerosene or some shit. I don't even know. We can still use tin cans with string between them instead of phones. That's true. But does the tin can with string have Flappy Bird on it? That's the big question. You get a whale oil generator, yeah. Whale oil candles. We just find like, what am I gonna do with all this whale oil? My grandpa had a whole ass warehouse. We're living in the book 1984. I mean, 1984 is like heavily based off of Soviet Union, communist, authoritarian governments, and like Nazi, fascist, authoritarian style governments. I mean, just based on the time in which it was written and what it was trying to emulate, it was just like a warning to the concept of like mixing sort of a technocracy and like limitless surveillance with the telescreen with thought crime and thought police and all that kind of stuff. Now, granted, I don't think that the author of 1984, Orwell, was creative enough to realize that eventually we will, or we can probably currently read people's minds, and who knows, maybe we can do it through the phones, through like quick scans or something, but I don't know. I'm sure we can get to a day. I mean, I would like to assume that, I don't know, I guess my hope is maybe like if there are people who control the politicians and like really do want some degree of authoritarian government in play, I just hope and pray that they would have some type of conscience, just a conscience. Not that they were conscious, but that they would have something deep within themselves where they're constantly trying to like control and grab power left and right out of like almost like fear of the masses. But why not just like serve the masses? Why not just like wake up with a new perspective, a new philosophy on life that says, I want to help the people, instead of pushing them further and further towards totalitarian technocracy. I don't know. Were the planes the same airline? Could be something in the policies creating safety issues. I don't know if that commuter would be part of an airline or not. I'm not sure. And obviously the F-22 or whatever it was would be a military thing. Favorite movie about witches? Definitely The Witch. VVITCH. That was a great movie. The Witcher Man. Yeah. I should box. Do you think so? I really should do some more, like, incorporate martial arts of sorts. Boxing would be good. I wonder where I even go to do that, to be honest with you. And would I have to, like, I honestly wouldn't mind just doing, like, normal boxing rather than, like, mixed martial arts stuff. Because I get kind of annoyed with like the mixed martial art, like it throws you all over the place that you never could just get to like hone in on one thing. I did jujitsu for a little while, but I kind of just like hated the fact, that you get there and you barely warm up and then immediately someone's trying to like crank your arm till it like pops out of socket and you just have to like be ready for the fact that they're going to do that and that they're going to listen to your tap. And then the fact that you're also like rolling around with a bunch of like grown, disgusting, sweaty men all day on a mat that may or may not have like ringworm on it, you know what I mean? Like all of it just like fucking grossed me out, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit. And I mean, I respect the people that do, but when you're not like used to it, it's just bleh. Oh my god, some of the dudes that did jiu-jitsu were fucking like 350 pounds, right? So like I get it. Dude, size doesn't matter if you have good technique, but it's like, dude, when someone is fucking size of Snorlax, like they could just like fall asleep on top of me and I would just like wait to suffocate, you know? What games have had me rage the most? I mean, definitely Overwatch, just because Overwatch and those sort of team shooters breed a strong sense of just like helplessness because you're relying on your team to, I don't know, I think that's one of the worst like design philosophies of those team shooters is the quote-unquote team compositions. Like if you're a game designer, if you want to piss your audience, you know, your players off the most, force them into like team compositions that are just like not viable in almost all circumstances and don't give them the option or agency to make much of a difference, and just like learn how quickly you will lose that audience. Literally podcast, my daughter and I really enjoy listening to your content. I've almost listened to all your videos. Oh, thank you, Clown Girl. Appreciate you guys. What's my worst rage moment? I don't even want to talk about it, honestly. It's not good. It's not good stuff. Not good, folks. Not good. He said the word. The gamer word. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just, I don't know. Games, I don't know. I've kind of gotten away from just competitive stuff. I've been playing Hearthstone. Hearthstone can still be frustrating, but it's, you know, I don't even know. I don't even like video games. Fucking sucks. Speaking of games, the wife and I just finished It Takes Two. It's pretty great. Nice. I'll have to try that, Nick. That does look like a lot of fun. Popping on the keyboard. Yeah, just grabbing the keyboard and like bashing my head with it. Did you ever try Apex? I did when it first came out, but like I already like had a pre-established like concept of sort of hating battle royales and the fact that like you could land, run, somebody gets like a weapon before you, murders you, and you're just like stuck there waiting to queue up again, blah blah blah. Or you go the whole game without seeing anybody, you know, it's been 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, and then you get fucking taken out and you're like, sweet. I mean, I like the idea of like asymmetrical warfare, like that's fun, you know, that's novel, that's new, but it's just like, Jesus Christ. Been playing Valorant and man, I don't know why I do it to myself. I mean, right, like, and honestly, I think at this point they must have done enough like psychological research into like video games to learn that there might actually be a correlation to people like continuing to maintain playing a video game and them sticking with it based on how high it can get their emotions, both in the negative and positive. But the worst part to me was like when I would play Overwatch, when I would play, you know, Marvels, I found myself getting actually more angry quicker at Marvels than I did Overwatch. Like Overwatch, I was always good for like 3 games. And then that's when I started being like questioning whether or not my teammates had brains, whether or not the game devs had brains. And then at that point I realized, I'm like, oh man, I'm about to boil over and it's going to be bad. And I need to get the fuck out of here. But yeah, with Marvel, it's just like 1 game in and dude, the fact that in quick play they make you play with bots, that is so cringe. Like you just immediately get an auto loss because they have like the easy level bots you got to play against. It's just, or play with. It's just so stupid. And then the fact that like, I don't know, healing just does so much. Tanks do like almost like next to nothing unless you're a dive tank. I mean, I get that people can make it work and shit like that, but I mean, then just the characters that do exist in the game that are DPS, that are like melee oriented, Black Panther, Magic, Wolverine, like the most rage-inducing characters you can ever play against in any video game ever is Wolverine. He will dive at you with his shift, which immediately grabs you and is, you know, it's a CC, he grabs you, pulls you back to his team, and he can do like an immediate 360, so it's like he can dive towards you, and then also like they call it kidnap you back to your team, and then just start slashing you based on percentage health, so if you're a tank you just get melted, and there's just nothing you can do. There's literally no counter, no fucking anything. Like there's some like if you were to play Groot or whatever the fuck, like you're just screwed. And to me, I'm just like, there's no nuance, there's no strategy, there's no like get good. It's just absolute brain dead hero design, and you know, there's no skill expression. Like, sure, you could grab someone as Wolverine, take them off the edge and like slam dunk them, cool. But am I impressed by that? No. And there was like a clear definition in Overwatch. For as shitty as that game is, and how shitty the devs were, and how shitty Blizzard is, there was a clear definition of like skill gap, and usually it involved your capabilities of how you could aim as a gamer, right? And it's like, they just kind of get rid of that with Marvel Rivals. Like, sure, there's aiming heroes, but most of the time it's all just like AoE fucking like Dynasty Warrior shit. It's just like, fuck off. That's stupid as shit. And the meta is like 3 healers. That's fun. You can't kill anything because everything's immediately 100% health. It's just, and you watch, it's not even like fun to watch. Overwatch was fun to watch people play it because you saw things, people do things mechanically as a shooter that was like impressive beyond what you usually were capable of doing, and you learn things. I watch fucking like Marvel Rivals players and I'm just like, this is such a mishmash of fucking bullshit. Like, there's nothing that they're doing at all that's interesting. It's just like, this so happens that once in a while somebody wins the fight because they don't have a support alt to completely like 100% everybody's health. I fucking hate that game already, and I'll never play it. I'm done playing it until they change healers or something. I have no clue. Alright, I'm done. I'm sorry. I just gotta get that out there. The game is shit, and the fact that it's like got this big circle jerk around it right now, like, sure, it was cool because everyone just wanted to hate Overwatch, but like, I don't think that game's gonna have like a long lifespan to it unless they like make some serious changes. Hey Scott, Metalhead, take care, dude. Marvel Strike Force, yeah, my one friend's very addicted to Marvel Strike Force. Hey Jade, what's up? Long time no see. That's why I play single player narrative games. Dude, yeah, single player games are where it's at, and sometimes you need that just to debrief. I don't even know why I play competitive stuff, honestly. Co-op games are where it's at. Like, games where you and your friends can just socialize are so great. That's why sometimes I wish that I was just like a smelly, stinky, like World of Warcraft player, but I just can't get into it because I came into it so late, when it's very clear that it's just sort of like, you know, a game you just chill with your friends and can talk. Am I mad? I'm not mad. I'm passionate, baby. I'm passionate. I played one game of Rivals and knew to install. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you were smart, honestly. And there was fun. It was fun initially to like experiment with like different mechanics and ideas. But just like early on, when you realize that like healing is OP and the only way to kill healers is with even more OP DPS, and like tanks are just kind of cosmetic, and you know, I'm just like, all right, this is I don't even know. Send this back to fucking China. I do not give a shit. You got your braces tight and they put on a power chain, but now I have pink braces. Hell yeah, dude. Just absolutely crank them braces. They turn your teeth into like shark teeth. I'm playing Kenna at the moment. It's very sweet but still challenging. That's fun. Yeah, honestly, those are the best games where you've just like made progress throughout the game, have gotten stronger over time. And I mean, I wish I could get into like Dark Souls, because it seems like every game is a Dark Souls clone nowadays. What's wrong with healers and Rivals? I personally think they're just OP. Like, anytime you make, there's no attrition. Like in Overwatch, a lot about Overwatch was about like, obviously there was the mechanical skill of aiming, but a lot of it was like baiting out cooldowns, you know what I mean? Where you could bait out a healer's cooldown and they didn't have it prepared for, you know, your onslaught of your cooldowns or your attacks or whatever. But in Rivals, the healers just like have, there's really next to no cooldowns on anything. Like, you will always have, in almost all circumstances, an ability that's going to like bring someone to like 100% health almost instantly, unless, and granted, some might argue, well, that just requires the enemy team to focus somebody and it's more of a team game. But when you're playing by yourself in that situation, it just makes it like unbearable, because there's no attrition and slow breakdown of those healing cooldowns. So, and yeah, just blah blah blah. So why are you so happy tonight? Did you get your girl? I'm just a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, you know. Honestly, anytime I get to bitch about a video game I've been playing, I get to go in rant mode. Oh yeah, I've been playing. Well, I played with my friend. We played Inside. I should have just played it on stream, honestly, but like Inside is such a good game. I love Little Nightmares, but honestly I would say Inside is like, out of those sort of like side scroller puzzle ones, that's such a peak game, and it came out in like 2016. I went down the Balatro rabbit hole for a solid few hours. I saw what people did, but honestly, I just, and not to put it down or anything, I just didn't really like the gameplay loop. I get the idea of like, you get a better Joker card, you get the whatever the fuck, like the multipliers and all that kind of stuff, but just doing well in that game just really wasn't that exciting to me, I guess. Thought this was a different one. No worries. I do read, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. Play Roblox. Yeah, maybe. A great game to play with friends are the Telltale games, but my personal favorite is the bet. Well, you can play that with friends, or you mean just like they get to watch you play it or something? Be really serious about Roblox. Talk about how brain dead the devs are, but it's like a custom game made by like a teenage kid. These fucking idiots. They don't make anything. This is supposed to be a crash test dummy simulator? What the fuck? Play Dress to Impress. Is that on the Nintendo DS? Telltale games are co-op? Question mark? I know, right? I don't know. That'd be fun. You both have to like react appropriately. But then your little brother's holding you back, bro. Reminds me of someone playing League of Legends and also having a roid rage at the game. Yeah, no, for sure. I am so thankful I never got into League of Legends. One, because every time I play like MOBAs, you have to click so much that like my wrist starts to like lock up. Not even joking. But yeah, I'm so thankful I don't get into those games that people like historically, just like on brand is toxic, and then I don't need any more of it. I need fun single player games. We need more games where you just enjoy it. Like, I get that they want to like nickel and dime us with like battle passes and skins and all that kind of shit, microtransactions, but they should start making just games where you play with your friends and it's fun, enjoyable, and there's a battle pass for a fucking, I don't even know, like a survival game or something. I think that would be dope. That is funny. I'm looking for a fun single player game. Is there a way to find context to some of the stories you read? I mean, some of the Reddit ones you can find because I link the usernames in the description, but I guess a lot of them being over email, it's just, and then obviously you get context for like the true crime stories because you can just kind of look those up and stuff. But my granddaddy was a Texas Ranger back during the Great Depression. He passed when I was just a kid, so most of the stories about him I got from my dad, but some of them are some real doozies, and this is probably the one that sticks with me the most. As you can probably imagine, the Great Depression meant a lot of folks turned to crime to make ends meet, and those already raking in ill-gotten gains had to really kick things up a gear to maintain the kind of lifestyle they'd become accustomed to. As a consequence, Cochran County became the bank robbery capital of West Texas, with banks and credit unions in Morton, Whiteface. I gotta make sure we're saying Whiteface and Bledsoe. I know how to say Bledsoe. Morton, but then make sure it's not like Whitfist or something like that. Some real British shit. Whiteface, alright. Anybody from Texas? Does Whiteface sound like a place? Related to Bonnie from Bonnie and Clyde. Interesting. What do they do again? They just got like real high and drive off the side of a cliff or something? Oh, they shot up Rangers. Interesting. It's better to have a console than PCs for gaming. In my opinion, PC gets outdated quick unless it's solely for gaming. Yeah, I guess it, I would argue the opposite in my opinion. Like, I've had this PC for a long time. Obviously it's more expensive to like get the parts, get the like do the initial build. But like once you get it, it's just amazing in the sense that like I remember like jizzing my pants when I first got a PC, and the fact that like Steam, what's the people that make Unreal with Fortnite and shit, like they always have like free games. Steam always has games on sale, and hypothetically, like I've had one of the same like graphics cards for like a long ass time, and based on the fact that like games haven't like made crazy leaps and bounds in forever, it's been like pretty much like a great mid-ranged card at this point for a while. Can only play old school Nintendo. Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with Nintendo. They're always timeless. What does Oxford study mean? I've heard of an Oxford comma. I don't know about Oxford study. What's the deal with an Oxford comma? Do 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 do. Oh, Thelma and Louise drove off the cliff. Oh, that's right, that's right. I always mix them up. I always mix them up with Helen Keller. As a consequence, Cochran County became the bank robbery capital of West Texas, with banks and credit unions in Morton, Whiteface, and Bledsoe getting hit on a daily basis sometimes. A lot of the folks who robbed the Bledsoe Credit Union tried skipping over the border into New Mexico, but the feds got wise to them whizzing off along the 125 and started posting officers over in Tantum where they could head them off and take them into custody. But then, not everyone tried burning rubber down the 125, and a lot more folks seemed to be getting away than my grandpappy and his fellow rangers would have liked. One time, grandpappy trying to track this one bank robber across the state, and this son of a bitch shot a female clerk after she spooked him, so there's no shortage of tips coming in from folks who think they spotted either him or his getaway car. One of these tips is from a guy who said he was 99% sure that he spotted the getaway car in the parking lot of some isolated motel called the Yellow Rose. Grandpappy drives out there to talk to the proprietors, who turn out to be this nice old couple living out kind of semi-retirement out there in the middle of nowhere. God damn it. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop was good. I don't think I finished it, but I do love the music. And then from the same creators, I believe, like I did watch all the way through Samurai Champloo back in the day, which Samurai Champloo had kind of a disappointing ending, I'll be honest. But I didn't watch the live action like remake or whatever. Yoko Kanno did the music for that. Yeah, dude. Japan seems so cool. Like, I know it seems like there's a lot of like deep-seated sadness within Japan sometimes, but just the degree in which like every one of their citizens seems to take its society very seriously without like, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to it in the sense of, divisionary politics as usual. But it seems as a nation substantially less divided than that of, say, America or the UK. Did y'all hear that Luka, got traded to the Lakers? We did. We done heard about it, Audrey. They're going to be popping off, aren't they? Isn't the NBA kind of going downhill a little bit? I mean, you obviously have, like, Joker, who can just, like, lift his hands up and shoot it. That'd be so funny if just, like, he just, like, one day figures out that as soon as he, like, takes the ball out, he can just throw it full court and just nail a full court shot every time. You feel bad for him. Isn't the Lakers good, though? Don't they have LeBron James? LeBron's needed help. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of like give a shit energy left for LeBron James anymore. Like, it was cool back when he was doing like 360 windmill dunks and shit like slam ball, but now he just seems kind of like a bitch, I guess. Not to be even rude, like he's obviously one of the greatest of all time, but he just has very strong bitch energy, you know? And I see him like take those flops and I'm like, makes me not want to watch fucking NBA at all. And not that I do anyways, but and then he's like, ain't no party like a Diddy party, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here, brother. Brad Pitt got noticed on Thelma and Louise. That movie got overrated though. I never seen it. Attendance down nearly 50%. I mean, like, you need some fucking flash, bro. Like, put some fucking trampolines on the court. Like, what are you doing? Bring back Spike TV. Let's go. You live in Akron? Oh, I thought you said you said you were Welsh. Did you say you were Welsh? You surprised he's not trying the acting thing? Yeah, he should just like every year put out another Space Jam. It's like Space Jam 6 with LeBron James again. We're like, all right, we get it. Toontown is in danger, and you save the day again. I mean, you know, you got to commend LeBron James for fucking staying healthy for as long as he has. Like, I really don't care if he's been injecting like dead babies into his arm to like keep it going, but it's, I don't know. Honestly, he's probably the only reason he's keeping the NBA alive. Imagine if they only had like those like weird European, you know, players. Like, I feel like if nobody's doing like a fucking like backflip NBA street style into a hoop, like, who gives a shit? Like, if you're shooting from a 3-point line, I want to see the ball catch fire prior to entering the hoop. That's honestly how they sell out seats, in my opinion. There needs to be like collateral. Do I like X-Files? Yeah, X-Files was good back in the day. I honestly, I regret not watching it more. I think I was kind of scared of it as a kid or something. Or maybe I just didn't understand it. I really should have watched it more. You certainly know Jordan. I have no idea. Everybody shoots threes. Maybe that's what makes it boring. Who do you guys think the best NBA player of all time? Kyrie? What's Joel Embiid up to lately? Is he still watching anime? It's about Bronny now. Is Bronny any good? Is he the next LeBron James? Do you think he got fast-tracked? Did Bronny get to like skip high school to just go right into the NBA? Did he have to do any college shit? Bronny be like, Daddy, pass me the ball to LeBron in the game. That's gotta be crazy. You raised the professional athlete that you play next to. That's what LeBron should do. He should just like make 4 other sons and just have them all play with him on the Lakers. And then as long as he just never ages and goes to every Diddy party, he should be good. Granddaddy drives out there to talk to the proprietors, who turn out to be this nice old couple living out a kind of semi-retirement out there in the middle of nowhere. They said the place used to be fairly lively back before Wall Street crashed, but by 1932, it was nothing but a glorified retirement home for him. Hardly anyone stopped by anymore, and whenever they did, the 2 old-timers didn't bother keeping any kind of record. They just let folks pay their 50-cent rate, pick up any room they like, and then check out whenever they cared to. Grandpappy said that they were both sweet as pie, and they answered all of his and his partner's questions, and they let them both take a look around the place to their heart's content, and they promised they'd be in touch if they remembered anything else. But as far as they knew, Grandpappy's suspect never stopped by, and if his getaway car was spotted in the motel's parking lot, the guy certainly didn't check in with them at the front desk. Grandpappy thanks them for their time, recommends that they start making records just in case they have to stop by again, And off he and his partner go to chase up other clues. Other goos. Wait, stop by again, then. Then. Do you remember that one, like, I don't know if it was Inside the NBA or like an NBA documentary, or maybe it was the NFL or something, but they're like, what do you think about so-and-so? And everyone was like, dastardly, bad. And the other one's like, a bitch, or something like that. Like they're going through all of them, like giving their thoughts on it. But I just remember the meme where it was like all the other reindeer talking about Rudolph. It's just so funny. As a child, I got freaked out by Soylent Green. Oh, yeah. I remember there was a kid in my 5th grade class who would just, like, always fucking say that. He's like, Soylent Green are people! And I'm like, bro, you were making references to shit that you watched with your parents. Like, none of us watched these. We watch fucking Rugrats, bro. Make Chucky Finster references, not fucking adult shows. And I still don't think I've seen what he was even referencing with that, Soylent Green. Okay, wait. Motel, right? Motel. Hardly anyone stop by anymore. Wall Street crash. Grandpa out there talking to proprietor. It says spotted the getaway car and parked Motel, the Yellow Rose. Okay, sorry. I got Charlton Heston. Okay. X-Files with the Jam. Right after the Skimpsons. Yeah, dude. Have I tried Watcher of the Realms? No, what's that? Watcher. Grandpappy thanks them for their time, recommends they start making records just in case they have to stop by again, and then off he and his partner go to chase up other clues. But the trail goes cold, and before long, they're forced to focus on other fugitives. A few months go by and my grandpappy and his partner are chasing up some other suspect in some completely unrelated bank robbery, when the name of the Yellow Rose Motel pops up again. This time, it's a guest who claimed to just so happen to have spotted grandpappy's suspect walk into a room carrying the exact same kind of bag used in a liquor store robbery. Again, it seems like they're hot on their suspect's tails, but then they roll up to the Yellow Rose and it was pretty much the same story as last time. No, they didn't have any records of the guy staying there, but they did vaguely remember who my grandpappy was talking about after he showed them both a photograph, and aside from that, they were no help. At that stage, grandpappy and his partner weren't exactly suspicious of the old couple, but they were getting a tad frustrated at how unhelpful they were being. They could be forgiven on account of their age and dispositions, but still, grandpappy felt like it were... Let's ride. I want to say thank you. Months ago, I asked you to say, call for odd, and you made me the coolest ringtone ever. Even when I spam calls, I smile, and then I get everyone to tell her, that's awesome. Thank you, Audrey. Appreciate you. Watcher of Realms is everything the Raid Shadow Legends wishes it could be. I don't know if that makes it any better, to be honest with you. I've never really heard anybody talk shit on, like, Raid Shadow Legends outside of the fact that it's just like such a meme. This is a great episode of Tales from the Crypt where Superman Christopher Reeves is running a cannibal restaurant. Nice. Tales from the Crypt. Oh, that's kind of sick. So that was before Christopher Reeves. Did he pass away? I assume he did, right? I hope one day we can figure out some sort of treatments to, like, make people unparalyzed. Man, that would be so sick. Thank you. Could you say text for odd? Email for odd. Love those two. Okay, let's try. Text for odd. Email for odd. You got an odd email. You got an odd text. They could be forgiven on account of their age and dispositions, but still, Grandpappy felt like if it were any other motel, he'd have both his robbery suspects in cuffs. And so, a few more months go by and then, yep, you guessed it, the name The Yellow Rose Motel pops up in the witness reports of armed robbery suspect. Once again, Grandpappy and his partner drive out there to talk to the owners, only this time, they catch them in a lie. The witness said the suspect had seemed nervous and unwilling to leave their room. This meant the older man of the couple had to head out to the guy's room every time he had an issue, and apparently he had many. The man admitted to having talked to the suspect, but at first tried to act confused as to which guest the Rangers were talking about. But then when Grandpappy asked if he'd been in the guy's room, long enough to get a good look at him, But then, when Grandpappy asked if he'd been in the guy's room, long enough to get a real good look at him, the guy lied and said no. Grandpappy and his partner played it cool. They didn't immediately throw the guy up against the wall and accuse him of lying. That wasn't their style. Instead, they made it look like they were taking the guy at his word and then went off trying to figure out how that nice old couple were connected to the suspects. And Grandpappy's partner thought that it was fairly simple. The old couple were offering shelter to the robbers, so long as they gave them a cut of their take. Rent wasn't 50 cents for folks. Oh no, it was more like 50-100, which back then was a heck of a lot of money. And the only problem was Grandpappy and his partner had to prove that this was happening, and considering they'd already searched the place pretty thoroughly without anything being found, they knew that wasn't going to be easy. They had to wait months before they heard anything else about the Yellow Rose, and when they did, Grandpappy and his partner just about broke the speed limit rushing to get that scoop. The lead was some bandito, some other agency had already apprehended and locked up. He figured his partner had screwed him over on the job, and so he wanted to get even. He told my Grandpappy that his partner had not only driven off without him, leading to his arrest, but he stiffed him for half of the money too. And the plan was that if either of them got caught, and one got away with the money, they were to make sure that the other's family was well looked after while they were in prison. The partner had failed to do this, so the prisoner was pissed. He tells Grandpappy all about their plan, which was to head to the place called the Yellow Rose, which helped criminals escape the law in exchange for a cut of the loot. Grandpappy's partner is just about hooting and hollering like, I knew it, dagnammit. I knew it all along. But a crucial piece of the puzzle was still missing. Grandpappy still had no idea how the old couple were helping their guest disappear, and neither did the prisoner, so there was no putting them in cuffs till they figured that out. They thought about it for weeks on end, with their assistant chief bringing down their briefing down their necks. Love, Death, and Robots is all fun and games until your ex-fiancé is trying to build AI robot bunny girls to sex up. That's true. Love, Death, and Robots is such a good show, though. We need more of it, honestly. Tales from the Dark Side. That does sound familiar. My Grandpappy like to smoke a little Adderall once in a while. You know, it'd be kind of like a funny experiment to do. If you knew a bunch of military guys independently, and then just introduce them to each other in different circumstances, just to see how many of them accuse the other one's service of being either misleading or a complete lie. Because sometimes I kind of feel like military guys are sort of excessively wary of each other in that regard. They thought about it for weeks on end, with their assistant chief breathing down their necks and demanding results. And then in the end, Grandpappy and his partner came up with a plan. They were going to enlist the help of a third ranger, Well, and the elderly couple hadn't met yet, and they were going to send him in undercover as a potential bank robber looking. That's what everyone is doing on YouTube. All military guys have been bashing each other. Yeah, it's kind of a sad thing, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand the frustration that certain military guys can have with each other, especially if, like, say you were Navy SEALs or something, right? And then one of you just so happened to be better at, like, marketing that to a larger population for a podcast or to sell underwear or whatever the fuck. Like, you know, it never seems like there's, like, an unsaid rule within military to sort of just, like, circle the wagon for each other, you know what I mean? To, like, look out for each other in a weird way. And maybe there is to some extent, but it is strange how maybe that's just, like, sort of the macho nature of masculinity where you almost have to, like, one-up another person in a strange way or be, like, excessively apprehensive to kind of, like, bring them down to your size, you know? Joey, I thought about a lot of Appalachia stories. I'm starting to believe that place is cursed. I mean, it's a huge mountain range, so it's out in the middle of fucking nowhere, so you're gonna get a lot of history there. But that was one of the weird things I noticed with, like, TikTok is, like, me as a girl who's from Appalachia, I'm gonna play up the accent even though it's going down to, like, Tennessee or some shit. And it's just like, what the fuck do you mean Appalachia? Like, how many fucking states are in Appalachia? You can't just, like, I don't know, arbitrarily define yourself. Oh, what do you live in the fucking mountain? Are you like a dwarf or something? It's part of the same mountain range that the UK, Sweden, Norway, with stories of fairies, etc. Oh, like it broke apart over time, or is it? I'm curious. The 13 colonies are in Appalachia. Yeah, so it's like saying I'm from Appalachia is just like saying you live on the east coast of the United States. Yeah, it just seems like excessively vague, but for some reason, like, wants to have an identity and some sort of, like, made-up culture just for, like, TikTok attention. Fucking hate that, dude. I don't know, everybody just, like, needs a title. Friends don't let friends TikTok. That's true. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. Every time you ask your friends to use an app on their phone, which one will it be? Say you need your phone's dead, can you use their phone to text your mom? Okay? You go onto their phone, you find TikTok, you delete TikTok. Don't say anything. You give it back to me, say thanks. Or something. Come up with some excuse to use their phone. And you just hold your thumb over top of that TikTok app and you click delete. Get rid of that shit. You're saving America with it. You pee on their leg. That's like deleting their crack pipe, dude. It's like taking their crack pipe and snapping it in half. Or taking their vape and... like, you can throw their baby into a fire, but don't you dare throw their vape in there. Why delete TikTok? It's a matter of national security. Don't ask questions, just do it. I have it on high authority. Post more podcasts on Spotify, paranormal stories. Yeah, I guess it's been a while. We haven't done paranormal in a while, but I do hope to record some more paranormal stories soon. And you know, the podcast is weekly on Tuesdays, so hopefully another episode of the paranormal stories I've done in the past will come up on there soon. Isn't TikTok off the app market in the US still? I don't think so. I think it's back. Trump gave it like 75 more days or 90-day extension or something like that. I'm curious who's going to buy it. Is Mr. Beast? Mr. Breast going to be one of the investors? We shall see. Have you ever had parasocial individuals in your inbox? Oh yeah, all sorts. But I have no parasocial individuals. Everyone in this chat and every one of my 1.2 million subscribers are my best friends. And we know each other like brothers and sisters. As someone with a platform like yours, do you have a personal Instagram or other things like that? I don't have a personal Instagram now. I never was like, I kind of missed that phase, I guess, of like creating a personal Instagram. My brain rot consumption has gone down like 90% since I stopped using TikTok. Yeah, I mean, it does kind of help you like think like, well, I need a novelty from something, and then eventually you just like sit there long enough in your quiet self and say, you know what? Maybe I'll do something good with my life. Maybe I'll go outside. Nah, fuck that. Hi from Scotland. Hello. Oh, from Scotland. Never use it. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Just more brain rot bullshit. I would say sometimes like Instagram is probably more brain rottening than TikTok. I understand everyone feels, but if I want to feel scared about this country, read the Red Record. Tabulated statistics and alleged causes of... Oh, it's kind of a random change of subject there. The U.S. doesn't like anyone spying on Americans except them. Exactly. We need to keep it in-house. Understand? ByteDance has been spying on the U.S. The U.S. has already found them storing data from TikTok. Yeah, it is funny how like the CEO... I just love like the idea of like this like CEO from TikTok like lying at like congressional hearings and stuff. Like, no, we would never. We only care, guys, about, you know, providing the best entertainment the Chinese Communist Party can provide. We simply want to indoctrinate your youth with terrible, terrible ideas. Joel once saved my grandma and her 8 cats from a horrible house fire, and then he drove away in his Lamborghini. This is true. I took the cats and your grandma with me. American history is super scary. I mean, welcome to planet Earth, brother. The whole fucking thing's scary. You'll be lucky if you're around next year sometimes, you know what I mean? It's the law of the jungle out there. Oh, kitty. Hi, kitty. It's rubbing in my leg. What happened to the Wienermobile? I crashed it into a fucking elementary school. It was not good. How is Kitty? He's good. He's craving attention right now that he never gets. Gonna get a shout out for my book, Fear Lieth, Immortal in Scotland. I'm your biggest fan. That's your book? Or what? Your book is Fear Lieth, Immortal in Scotland? Is that the name of the book? Yeah, the Wienermobile is not insured. And it runs on like on nuclear power. It's like one of the oldest vehicles in the United States. Runs on atomic energy, so that whole fucking school is just like irradiated now. Does your cat ever come up and sprawl out across your keyboard while you're trying to type? Thankfully, since I have a standing desk, everything is very up high, so his ability to access said desk is quite limited. Also, Pradeep is really bad at jumping. That's a little fun fact about him. I've seen cats like jump 8 feet in the air, just like flawlessly fly, and he gets scared to come up on the sink. You can just like see him like working out the equation on what to do, and then just completely like flubbing it up. Everyone would hate me for asking this question, but Joel, do you feel like the true crime YouTube is adding to propaganda? What is propaganda? Is that like, do you mean like propaganda for police or something? True crime YouTube is adding to propaganda. What do you mean by that? Did you hear that one congressman having TikTok can read your brain thoughts through your ear if you have earbuds in? We got some real winners in Congress these days. Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's... I thought you were about to tell me that, like, they were, like, The guy was like, maybe. But honestly though, like, who knows? Who fucking knows anymore? Like, who knows what, like, technology, the fact that I can take my voice, speak it into a microphone, and it reaches your ears within seconds. Who's to say there isn't some sort of, like, imagery of the brain, or certain waves that come off of the brain, or, you know what I mean? Like, some type of frequency that can be translated into, like, consistent patterns that can be interpreted by AI to then determine, at least, at the very least, what you're feeling in the moment, you know what I mean? Or maybe even more worse, like what you're specifically thinking about. Even if it, because I could see, like, in the same way that, like, AI like produces art, sometimes, like, AI art kind of like looks what you might see in, like, a dream, or like the mishmash of the mind, you know? AI girlfriend, here I come. I swear, so many times I think of something and then it shows up in my feed. I know, yeah, you get, like, advertisements from, which is so funny to think, like, they figure out how to read your brain, and instead of going into, like, a dystopia quite as bad as you would anticipate it, they try to sell you something. Like, oh, we can use this. That's a crazy thing. It is a crazy thing, but, I mean, the cool thing about, like, having thoughts like that is when you think of a crazy idea, we as humans usually eventually figure it out. I took a large sample of my writing and had an AI give me a breakdown of any personality disorders. Do you think you could figure that out from writing? Pineapple on pizza, nah. Honestly, I do like pineapple on pizza. It's not, like, my favorite, but I do kind of enjoy, like, the sweet and salty nature of it. It's honestly pretty good. It's not, I mean, I think I would still, like, prefer, like, meat and that kind of stuff on there. Various other toppings, but I have no issue with pineapple pizza. Unless it's just, like, too much. Schizotypal disorder, etc. I don't know. I would just be careful, Fox, from, like, digging too deeply into, like, looking for identity markers for, like, personality traits, because the second that you give yourself an identity marker for those personality traits, the more you're going to want to, like, lean into it. Not necessarily as, like, a crutch, but you're just going to almost, like, create, like, a self-fulfilling prophecy of, like, fulfilling that type, you know what I mean? So imagine if people around you, ever since the time you were in, like, middle school, when you were, like, developing who you were as a personality, they were like, oh, he's going to be a school shooter, or he's going to be a serial killer. Oh yeah, he's always seemed like a serial killer. Bro, you're like a serial killer. Like, if they just kept saying that to you over and over and over again, maybe there's a degree of pattern recognition within their mind, the fact that maybe you present as a bit weird or creepy, but it's going to, like, dig into your head over time to, like, split your personality into one that's going to want to potentially act on, you know. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of studies within psychology that could show that you're more prone to leaning in a direction of what people call you all the time. What's your favorite Alfred Hitchcock film? I have no idea. I watched one, I think, years ago about... Actually, it wasn't years ago. It was like a year ago. About, like, these people that lived in, like, a courtyard in New York. Like, they all lived in different apartments and, like, watched each other. The guy had, like, broken legs or something. It kind of just reminded me of, like, what you would see in, like, a Broadway play. But I guess that's kind of how they based a lot of their filming in the beginning. I forget what it was called. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't too exciting either. Rear Window, yeah. Was that Alfred Hitchcock? Can't say I really liked it that much. I know some people consider him, like, crazy, the best director. I mean, obviously everybody's got to, like, walk to allow us to run and that kind of thing. It is funny, though, whenever they were doing, like, a close-up at one point in that movie, you can literally hear the person holding the camera's, like, legs creaking on, like, the hardwood floor. It's kind of funny. My mom thought my brother would turn out to be the gay one. Also, he was the favorite. She spoke of these things often. It fucked us up. Did he turn out gay, or did it just kind of like... But I mean, it is annoying, you know what I mean? Like, whenever they sit there and say, like, oh, you'll be my blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, you've always been the hellion. You've always been the bad one. He's always been the bad. You know, it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, especially what a parent says to their kid about their identity, you know, as a person, or what they're perceived as being really, really screws with a kid's head. And it pisses me off that like parents don't recognize that, you know what I mean? They just like sort of just willy-nilly throw out insults to their own children and like don't even like for a second have the ability to like contemplate how that might hurt them, you know? It's fucking stupid. The birds. Yeah, I haven't seen the birds. My kids are assholes a lot of times, but I would never say that. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to like guide them and make sure that they don't turn out to be jerks and stuff, but at the same time you would never dig into their psychology and just like leave them. Because I mean, we as, you know, people as parents, it's like you have to lift them up in the same way that you know, maybe with a strong hand guide them, you know. They don't realize they're affecting a small, impressionable psyche. Yeah, exactly. Especially when the brain is like at its most elastic and like developing. It's like those little words, they stick in the head as it like slowly solidifies over, you know. The brain is like cement. And if you sit there and like stick your fucking handprint into that cement for years and years, as it starts to harden, the handprint will stay there. I've been absent on live streams in the past couple months. Are you still going to do a stream of any video game play? I was yesterday, but the tough thing is, it's just like, if I have anything social going on, I tend to prioritize that for my Saturdays as opposed to like gaming on stream. But I do hope to finish the Little Nightmares DLC at some point for a stream and go on to the next one. They were going to enlist the help of a third ranger, one the elderly couple hadn't met yet, and they were going to send him in undercover as a potential bank robber looking type guy to buy their services. They thought the idea was foolproof, especially after their fellow ranger got himself firmly into character. They were dealing with low-down, no-good sons of bitches on a nearly daily basis, so imitating one was as easy as falling off a log. And all they had to do was be patient, gain a little trust, and then they were on for a stakeout. So the first step was obviously to have their ranger buddy approach the couple while undercover, to see if they'd help him disappear. He walks in, a couple of minutes go by, then out he comes with a bona fide verbal guarantee that if he shows up with the law. Children are still learning appropriate behavior, and that takes time. It's hard, especially when they're small and don't have the ability to cope with big emotions. It's true, yeah. I mean, you just gotta know how. It is funny sometimes. I think about my dad, like, literally since I was like 3, you know, or younger, and can like remember. I mean, I remember going far back, but just remembering like how I was disciplined or interacted with. I always just thought it was funny that when I look back on it, my dad never baby talked me ever. It was just like right out the gate, the way he talks to me today is how he talked to me when I was a little kid. It's just really funny to think about. My favorite voice actors? Oh man. Who played Gollum again? And then obviously Kevin Conroy. Yeah, who was the Gollum guy? Because his shit is pretty amazing. Also, whenever Michael Ironside does like Splinter Cell voice, that shit is like iconic. Here, sorry, let me look it up. Yeah, Andy Serkis, yeah, or whatever. Right, Serkis, Andy Serkis, yeah. What a beast, man. He's so good at everything. Which is so impressive, like, just his transformation later in life. I mean, obviously, probably help when we talk about help with steroids and stuff. Well, that's fine. I don't give a shit if actors do it in like a controlled environment, but it's just so interesting. He goes from Gollum to like getting older, and then plays like in like Black Panther, like a badass, like muscular villain. Just fascinating, honestly. David Hayter, Metal Gear. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many talented actors and voice actors. It's probably why you're so articulate. I mean, I sometimes don't find myself to be particularly articulate, especially if I'm like discussing. I mean, the one thing that I do that I embarrass myself with a lot about is like kind of give opinions on things that I don't have a lot of specific knowledge in. Like, I've come to find that if I'm not able to sit there and say, and for example, to like describe my thought or whatever. I mean, I guess that's maybe not why I don't like dig too far deep into like the political spectrum and or economics, because I feel like if you don't like give examples for those and how it might manifest both in history or in modernity, you just kind of come off as someone who just like gets caught up in the emotions of things rather than giving clear examples. Rise of the Ronin? I don't think so. Though I am very jealous of like people who like talk about politics and sound incredibly learned and intelligent about, you know, their takes on things, and just are like, you know, you can tell that they're like fascinated with like history, and they're fascinated with data and numbers and reading all the time, constantly reading, like just people, you know, and those are usually some of the most intelligent people, I think, are usually the ones that read a lot and have been reading since they were young. I have to and not just me sitting here reading fucking Reddit stories and shit, even though obviously the true crime is great. Love your work, Joel. You should do voice acting. I think so too. I would love that. Gollum was motion capture, but yeah, he bulked up starting in District 9. Okay, wait. Who was he in District 9? What did he play in that? Did you catch anything last Sunday? I told you wouldn't get sick. I didn't catch anything, no. I mean, but I did, yeah. I got some more like vitamin, what did I get? Vitamin D3, 10,000 units with a K2 or whatever combo bullshit off of Amazon. It was so far so good. Why do we automatically assume people are speaking from knowledge and not their opinion, though? Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree, too. I just, what I mean is, like, it's almost like layers, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people will speak in generalities. Like, they'll say something like, I believe that we need healthcare for all. Or I believe that we need hoobity-doo. You know, they say a lot of, like, these general concepts, like, within the political spectrum, but until they get into, like, the specifics as to where it's been accomplished or how it would pan out within, like, the tax bracket, you know, like, you know, if they don't get into specifics, I immediately assume that they're just trying to like tug at your heartstrings. And if all anybody ever does when they talk about politics is tug at your heartstrings and try to appeal to emotion, like, I get it, that's effective, but you're not learning anything, and it definitely doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about, you know. So it's just, most of the time it's just a bunch of wasted flufflepuff. And I do speak often in much flufflepuff, but it's an embarrassing trait of myself when a lot of learning about something probably just requires time, and not everybody has time, but they do want to seem cool. They do want to seem important and intelligent. Jackie Chan, welcome back for 10 months. I just uploaded a 30-second video. If you want to see, I made a hot dog mobile prototype suggested. Welcome. Let's take a peek real quick. You uploaded your hot dog online, huh? Oh, that's awesome. Made like a 3D model Wienermobile. That's sick. Hell yeah. More. The alien noises in District 9 were made by rubbing a wet pumpkin. The factoid pops up in my head at least once a day. It makes me chuckle. That's funny. There's another big NBA trade that just went down. What was it? Joel, you still want that poop spell? Wait, what did I say? Oh, from Harry Potter. Yeah, what is the poop spell? What's up, Max? All right. You can hear when phones are fully charged. That's interesting. I remember when I was younger, like on those like tube TVs, I could always hear whenever they were on, but like it was like a black screen, but it looked kind of like it was off. I could just like hear the frequency when I was younger, and be like, actually, teacher, the TV is actually on right now. She's like, what? Oh my God, you're like a little dog. You're like a little dog monkey guy. The bloop noises. Yeah, it was just like something like super like... How do I feel about the plane crashes lately? I'm just wondering where the hell Superman is. He walks in. A couple of minutes go by, then out he comes with a bona fide verbal guarantee that if he shows up with the law on his tail and he pays them a couple $100, they'll held him... God damn it. What is this saying? They'll held him vamoose... They'll help. Okay. Fuck. I hate when I like make it and there's like one spelling error. Wait, who's in a wheelchair? Tim Curry. Is Tim Curry still alive? I love him too. Expelliarmus. And that high-pitched sound drove me insane when I worked at Best Buy in videos and they were 40 plus tube TVs. Oh my God, yeah. It's like being like a dog surrounded by like those whistles. Scary ADHD stories. Me when I don't take my pill. Me when I don't take my pill. He walks in. A couple of minutes go by, then out he comes with a bona fide verbal guarantee that if he shows up with the law on his tail and he pays them a couple $100, they'll help him vamoose on down to Mexico where the law will never find him. And after that, it was just a case of picking a date and time, playing a phony news bulletin over the radio so the couple really believed there had been a robbery, then having their Ranger roll up on the yellow rose, tires screeching, and with a big old bag of money. On the day of the undercover job, my grandpappy and his partner in up a water tower... What the fuck? On the day of the undercover job, my grandpappy and his partner and up a water... Went up a water tower about a half. Oh, okay. Went up. Oops. Oh my gosh. Sorry, kitty. Sorry. That's really funny. I like lifted my foot up to kind of like stretch a little bit and it like landed on the chair behind me. Pradeep was laying there and he just immediately like swatted his paw at my back of my foot. He's so cute. He's such a cutie. Joe, I'm sure you've been asked this before, but is there a store so awful you wouldn't read it? Just if it's like, honestly, not really. I've had ones that like kind of go into like really racist stuff that just like wouldn't fly on YouTube, and it's just like I can't really. And then, you know, the further I make it into it, I'm just like, this is fucking stupid, you know. I grew up before people drug their kids because they think differently and learn differently. I didn't try 80 shows until adulthood and hates it. Yeah, I don't agree with like giving kids Ritalin or Adderall or all that kind of stuff. Just too many negative effects from methamphetamine, you know, derived drugs, especially for like during brain development and things like that. I just really not on board with any of it. But, you know, I do understand that certain kids have different learning capabilities and it just might require assistance or more assistance, you know. I had meds as a child for years that messed me up bad. Yeah, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like it's like we understanding the brain as a whole for modern medicine is like still a relatively new practice, and a lot of the times most of it's just fucking guesswork, and it makes me sick that like doctors just kind of like casually hand out anything and everything in hopes that it somehow like corrects something that most of the time isn't even like objectively measurable, the same way that like your blood sugar or diabetes might be measurable. You know, it's just I don't know, might just be a way to make money, if you ask me. Your channel got me through medical school, and I'm sure it'll get me through residency and fellowship the next 3 to 6 years. Keep up the amazing work, and thanks for putting me to sleep nightly. Thank you, Kimball. Best of luck, man. I hope you... The irony of me mentioning med school as we're dumping on doctors, true, though. I mean, I'm not trying to dump on doctors. It's just, like, doctors need to be aware that, like, there are some very... I don't know, like, towing the line for pharmaceutical companies is clearly, like, an ethical concern that the public is now, for the first time in a long time, in the majority stance, like, bringing to the forefront. And I do honestly think that it's important that we don't always jump right to, like, pharmaceuticals to treat individuals' needs, especially just to get them to shut up or something like that, or to get them to feel good. There are so many other, like, natural approaches or, you know, teaching dynamics that you can create that could assist with, especially a child, to develop appropriately. Your channel got me through dissertation defense. Thank you. You're welcome. Dude, I'm just killing it. I'm putting everybody through college, baby. The culture is changing, especially in the younger generation of doctors. That's good, you know. I had a friend of mine, well, it was a friend of a friend, really, and he was going through med school, and he just, like, very hard, like, kind of toes the line as far as pharmaceutical, like, I guess, methodology goes, and he's always just dismissive. You know, if you have any questions about something, it's just always, like, the trust the science type thing, but I'm like, dude, if you're not going to get into specifics with me on something, and when people have, like, genuine concerns about whatever it might be, then all you're doing is just, like, preaching a religion. You know, you can't just say, like, mantras or various dismissive statements, because then it's not really science anymore. It's just like some sort of clergy, you know, with high priests and all that kind of shit. Big Pharma run most doctors' lives, and it's not the doctors, it's that they don't want to lose their license. Doctors can't be doctors because of Big Pharma. Yes, yeah, I'm sure that, and I mean, don't those same, like, pharma companies, like, fund schools and essentially determine the curriculum and all that kind of stuff? I just think doctors a lot of the times probably have to, like, go through their schooling and then just, but the whole time just be, to a degree, much more discerning, you know, once they get out into the field. And, you know, give a lot more autonomy to the patient, and certainly don't shame them. I think, like, the shaming questions, like, if you have questions for your health, you know, especially your child's health, there's, like, no reason you should ever shame a patient for questions and uncertainties. On the day of the undercover job, my grandpappy and his partner went up to a water tower about a half mile from the Yellow Rose, and they watched the whole thing unfold through a pair of binoculars. The man rolls up, doing close to 100, runs into the check-in office like a man possessed, and then starts yelling about how the cops are on his tail and he needs hiding. The older man helps hide his car in the garage around back. Then they show him where their secret hiding spot is for their wanted fugitives. Grandpappy and his partner are watching as they take their undercover ranger buddy out of sight, with the plan being that when the couple show him what they do with the fugitive, he pulls a gun and 2 pairs of cuffs and then arrests them both. Grandpappy and his partner had no real idea how long that was going to take, because how long is a piece of string, you know? But then 30 minutes go by, then an hour, then 2 hours, and they get to wondering what the hell is going on. There were no wires or anything back then, Not like all the sophisticated doodads they got today, so they had to just sit and wait, getting more and more nervous until they decided to head in there themselves to search the place top to bottom again. But then they go in, and they go in and have... Oh, oops, I wasn't ready for that. I think that's a U.S. issue since we in the UK, social health care, so Big Pharma is not as influential. Yeah, that's a good point, you know? That is a good point. Do you feel in the UK, and obviously, you know, not being in the United States, participating in healthcare, you might not have the experience to kind of give word on that, but maybe perhaps from things you've seen through your own research, do you find that there's anything negative compared to the United States healthcare system within the UK's healthcare system? I know some people talk about like long waits, or maybe never actually getting a treatment, or, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, my favorite videos of people in London being asked how much it costs to have a baby in the US and being shocked. Yeah. That's why I'm gonna have an in swamp birth. Just give birth right in the swamp. A 20-year wait in the UK. For some reason, I feel like that's not a joke. Insurance companies get to choose who lives or dies in the UK. It should be by need. An Australian public can take a while. Where's that American Energy Drinks healthcare system meme at? I don't remember that one. Depends on what it's for. Makes sense. Socialism healthcare won't work here, population too large. I guess that's a good point too. I mean, maybe they could approach it state by state. I do remember hearing that, like, didn't Vermont try, like, with Bernie Sanders? Was Bernie Sanders the senator of Vermont or something? I heard that there was like some socialized healthcare attempted within the state of Vermont. Am I wrong? And was it successful? I don't know. Do I want to live out of the US? You know, I don't know. And honestly, I don't really think so. I mean, I like to visit places, but to just fully, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be such a culture shock, and I would never, like, truly fit in, you know? But then, they do go in, and they go in heavy. They got rangers, local sheriff's deputies, even 2 federal agents that drove up from planes at short notice once they heard a Texas Ranger had gone missing. But it was the sniffer dogs that they brought along that found their missing ranger, and unfortunately, it wasn't because they were trained to smell people. Those dogs were trained to smell blood, and boy did they find a lot of it. Out back near the garage where the old-timer kept the fugitive's cars, there was an old rust bucket of a broken-down truck just sitting there. The dogs were all over it, or more specifically, they were sniffing at the ground underneath it before pointing like they had been trained to. The rangers had the broken-down truck moved, then they take a look at the patch of dirt more closely until they find what they're looking for. It was a carpet, or a sort of rug, and they brushed dirt and rocks over it, so unless you actually walk on top of the thing, there was no way of knowing it was there. They pulled it back, and right there in front of them was a big old iron hatch leading down into what I suppose you call these days a bunker. And inside that bunker was what can only be described as a kill factory. They had a kill room with a drain and hose for spraying off all the blood. They had a processing room where they could deal with the bodies, but they weren't just disposing of them in ways that no one would ever find them. The complete opposite situation, really. They were embalming and preserving these bodies with a sort of special kind of varnish to stop the skin from rotting, kind of like a taxidermist would. Then, when the bodies were all waxed and dressed and their hair was combed, they'd pose the bodies in a little room like they were all hanging out together. And the worst thing is, that they didn't have Netflix. I'd fit in Australia. Yeah, people in Australia were really nice. Like, no joke. Everyone was super, super nice there. In a strange way, there was like some weird parts of Australia where I felt like, this feels like a utopia, if that makes sense. But in also a weird way, it was like well, I don't want to talk too much trash at all, but it honestly just like felt like a lot of it was pretty good. Netflix and taxidermy. Something's wrong with YouTube. I can't hear this on my phone, but I can do it on my TV, so I have to listen on my TV and comment on the phone. But I'm behind by 10 minutes. Maybe you can refresh the stream on your phone, because a lot of times people's streams are like not refreshed. I don't really know why. You can talk trash about American Joe. I'm here for it. I was going to talk trash on Australia, but I didn't really. I felt like since I only went to like Perth and passed through honestly, it was like the fact that the airport was so nice in Sydney and in Perth, and everybody was so kind everywhere I went. I was just like, that was like the culture shock, that everyone was just like so incredibly welcoming. Aussies apparently see us Americans as quite attractive and our accents hot. That's the feedback I get while asking around there. Interesting. Oh yeah, I did. Definitely a lot of people like ask like, oh, where are you from? And they couldn't quite pinpoint my accent. Sydney, they redid it in 2018. Oh, the airport and stuff. Yeah. Haggis and bacon burgers. That sounds nice. Worst thing is, they weren't doing it because they got a sick thrill out of it. At least the old couple claimed that wasn't the case. They were doing it because they felt bad for the people they killed. They only killed him to begin with because fugitives were bad folks, as they put it, and they never would have killed the ranger if they'd have known that he was an officer of the law. But unfortunately, the ranger left it a little too late to reveal his identity, and the old-timer hit him over the head with a hammer. And by the time the cops got there to rescue him, the old-timer had just about drained all the blood out of his body before processing. They couldn't go burying the bodies on their property, at least not without drawing too much attention. And so, they did what, according to them, was the next best thing. Created a kind of mausoleum where these bad men could hang out in a nice room with books, a record player, and a poker table. And I'm very serious, too. They brought all that stuff with the money. Is this real? Did this happen? That's fucking wild. These old people are doing God's work. You're an American, we suck. That's the thing, too, is like, I feel like Americans are bred so hard to, like, hate themselves, right? So many people are just, like, wake up every day and dislike themselves and their culture and whatever. But I don't think that's the case. I think there are a lot of good Americans. Or I think most of them are, we just unfortunately have pockets of not so good. And moments of not so good, and I don't know. Just try your best to be the best one. No, it's a stimulation. I'm the best American. I salute you. Oh. I'm deadly serious, too. They bought all that stuff with the money they got from their bank robbers. I saw it as least they... God damn it. Saw it as the least they could do considering they murdered all those men. It wasn't just the three guys my grandpappy... Holy fuck, if I don't want to say grandpappy any more times, I'll be happy forever. It wasn't just the three guys my grandpappy was looking for either. They killed 4 more criminals they figured had a bunch of ill-gotten money on their person, and they'd been at it for years, too. It was a very big story around Cochran County at the time, but I guess it never took off around the county because there was no big trial to play out for the cameras. The older man had a heart attack in his prison cell, and it turned out his wife was already dying of cancer anyways, because she passed away in the night before they could even get her arraigned. God damn it, I should have. Peepaw. My pawpaw. My poo-paw. My poo-poo. My gampap. My poopy. Do you have to fast forward after you voice type or type sometimes? What do you mean? I don't understand. America doesn't suck. That's brainwashing. There is good and bad, and mostly bad everywhere. Thank you, Joel. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the weird thing is like it's like an algorithm in like some Americans' heads where they're just like, America suck. Oh man, Americans suck compared to everywhere else, even though sometimes they haven't even been anywhere else, you know. And then they also like there's also this thought process in their head too that like humans as a whole suck. And it's like, once again, a few bad apples spoil the bunch. You know, everybody sits there and says like humans are just gonna blow themselves up one day, and it's like, if you had a nuke button in front of you, would you press it? That starts a cascade of other nuke buttons going off, blowing everybody up in this hypothetical end of world scenario you've just talked about that humans are going to be responsible for. Would you do it? And they would probably say, no, I wouldn't press that button. Right. And the majority of everybody else around you probably wouldn't press the button either. So this end of world scenario in which like the humans are destroying the earth, it's probably not you, you know, sitting at home chilling, jerking off, eating cookie. No, it's probably a small group of incredibly influential individuals. The older man had a heart attack in his prison cell, and it turned out his wife was dying of cancer anyways because she passed away in the night before they could even get her arraigned. Dad said Grandpappy never did get over sending his ranger buddy in there first. Always said it should have been him. And I guess that's why he drank so much, which is why he passed when I was just a kid. And so all in all, I guess that old couple played quite a significant role in my family's history. And it's a hell of a thing to consider. Even worse when you remember they considered themselves good people. But we're pressing the button with global warming. I mean, even that concept too, it's just like, to me it still just feels like this like offsetting of like larger actions to like the consumer side of things. You know what I mean? Like why do you, Christy O'Brien, have to wake up every day and have to like bear the burden of the concept of like why would you bear the burden of like the changing of the Earth's weather? Like that's such an abstract concept that individual humans, you know, shouldn't be adopting into their mindset daily. It's just like such a strange thing. That doesn't mean that you can't like treat the world well or whatever and do whatever it is that you think might make things better, like don't pollute and yada yada yada. But I mean, you're not gonna stop fucking a big fucking mile-long island of tires from burning. You know what I mean? Like, unless you made that island of tires, that might have been you. Actually, I think that might have been you. That's your island, an entire mile-long island of tires created by Christy herself. It's crazy. All right, guys, we got one more story left. Holy shit! Fuck, this one's long as shit. That's alright. I'm gonna go take my magnesium and I'll BRB. Wait, sound of the screen. Are you talking about, does my stream have a very high pitch or something like that you're hearing, or are you just talking about in the past with the TVs and stuff, the tube TVs? Do you ever drink almond milk before bed? It has natural magnesium to help restful sleep too. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Hey Fry, what's up, dude? The wait, the Be Right Back music screen has a high pitch to it, not just... I'm confused. What do you hear? What's up, Betty? How you doing? You had to turn off volume. Right, yeah, you sure it's not just part of the music or something? You can still hear it? What do you hear? Does anyone hear like a... It's just a high ambient tone? Where are you hearing it? You think like a frequency in the background music? You hear the hum of the orb. Here, I'm gonna go to the stream starting soon screen where there's no audio there. Let me know if you still hear it. Couldn't hear it before. No hum. No humbug. Alright, I'll take that as... You guys obviously don't have dog ears. Some people in my chat are actual canines. Maybe you have tinnitus, I don't know. Hear your hair growing on your butt. Alright, here we go. Nestled along the banks of the Taedong River. Oh, Christ. It's a true crime story, and it's in another land far, far away. Can't wait to mispronounce every word. Taedong. Pyongyang. Pyongyang. Taedong. Pyongyang. Pyongyang. Wait, how do you say it? Pyongyang. Taedong. Nestled along the banks of the Taedong River, the North Korea capital of Pyongyang is perhaps one of the most unsettling and enigmatic places on Earth. Befitting its moniker, the Hermit Kingdom grants entry to only a limited number of curious tourists each year, and those welcomed are subjected to incredibly strict regulations. Visitors must always be accompanied by a guide and are only permitted to visit a handful of carefully selected and delicately curated locations. Then, as for their accommodation, visitors are usually checked into one of the only hotels... Oh, damn it. Speaking of true crime, does anyone remember which episode did Joel talk about Joel Guy Jr.? Joel Guy Jr.? Who's that? It's my son. Joel Guy. His name's Joel Guy. Hey, Joel Guy. What's up, Devoid? How we doing? How are you still awake? Thanks for... I don't know. I need to bang this out because I feel like I should not be awake right now. Then, as for their accommodation, visitors are usually checked into one of the only hotels in the entirety of North Korea that permits foreign guests. A stark beige monolith known as the Yanggakdo International Hotel. Oh, come on. Fuck, I don't even know, man. I mean, I gotta get this done now, but I was not in the mood for like, oh, fuck, they don't even have it on Forvo. How you say, I just was not like ready for like a long ass fucking, fuck, dude. How many words did I have before that? That's crazy. Young Gak Do. Okay, Young Gak Do. Then, as for their accommodation, visitors are usually checked into one of the only hotels in the entirety of North Korea that permits foreign guests, a stark beige monolith known as the Yeonggakdo International Hotel. At 400 meters wide and deep enough for the passage of large ships, the Taedong River is one of the largest in North Korea and boasts a great number of larger and smaller islands. One of these islands, known as Yeonggak, is located almost smack bang in the middle of Pyongyang and is home to the hippopotamus Hotel. Eponymous, goddamn. Joel Nye, the science guy. I think I have to go see the doctor. Those high pitches are driving me crazy. But it was, well, Mon Blue on my Be Right Back sound. I don't know, dude. Hip Hop Anonymous Hotel. Could be very sensitive, but it's occurring frequently. Could be tinnitus and worth getting checked. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. If it's like... One of these islands, known as Yeonggak, is located almost smack bang in the middle of Pyongyang and is home to the eponymous International Hotel. Constructed in the late 80s on the island's far northern tip and opened in 1995, the 47-story hotel essentially serves as a containment compound for North Korea's foreign visitors, and guests are only permitted to check in following a thoroughly extensive background check. Upon entering the Yeonggakdo Hotel, guests are greeted by high ceilings, marble floors, and dark leather seating. Touches of rare opulence in a country like North Korea. But plastering the lobby's walls are garish reminders of both time and place. Vast hand-painted murals depict heroic, larger-than-life figures engaged in key moments of North Korean history, such as the nation's founding or their supposed victory in the Korean War. Others show scenes of joyful workers, farmers, or soldiers, all embodying the spirit of self-sufficiency and loyalty to the state. In each image, everyone is smiling, everyone is joyful, but they are masks which hide a terrifying but wholly unspeakable truth. Upstairs, rooms are decorated in very neutral shades of beige, cream, and light green. The furniture is functional, the bathrooms Spartan but clean. Spartan? The bathroom's Spartan. Is Spartan like a adjective? Is that a thing? Jesus fuck. God damn it. Dude, why can I not copy paste this shit? Jesus fuck. Sorry, it means basic. Oh, okay, thank you. Could clarify, like minimalist, bare bones, a Spartan bathroom, basic fixtures, little. Okay, thank you. Be easy on yourself. No, I just all of a sudden got hit with this realization that if I don't like bang this out, I'm gonna fall asleep like really late and then be miserable waking up tomorrow. The furniture is functional. The bathrooms Spartan but clean, yet the hotel's more public spaces are anything but ordinary. At the top of the hotel sits a slowly revolving restaurant, offering diners a 360-degree view of Pyongyang while enjoying a blend of Korean and Western cuisine. The hotel's casino attempts to add a touch of Vegas to proceedings with red carpets, gold fixtures, and the tinkle of slot machines for ambiance. The hotel's basement hosts a gift merchant, a one-stop shop for all your propaganda needs, where things like books, badges, and posters are available to purchase. However, there is another area of the hotel that is strictly forbidden to its guests, and have thus become a subject of deep curiosity to both visitors and observers alike. The hotel's staff refer to it as the communication and rebroadcasting floor, but guests simply refer to the place as the fifth floor. Many believe the fifth floor serves a dual purpose within the hotel. The first is to monitor the movements and communications of the hotel's guests. The second is to ensure the compliance and loyalty of the hotel staff. Unlike the rest of the hotel, the fifth floor is said to be decorated in the style of a North Korean military installation, with endless grays and aggressive propaganda replacing the soft colors and warm welcomes of the wider hotel. Yet the fact remains that no one actually knows for certain what occurs there. Seldom has North Korea permitted Western photographers onto the fifth floor, and their explanation of the floor's purpose has been vague at best. Many know better than to go snooping around restricted areas in a country suffering a brutal dictatorship, but the same could not be said for one particular visitor to the Yanggakdo International. Yanggakdo. How many hours of sleep do you give yourself if you take magnesium? Enough. You actually punched your eye yesterday with playing tug-of-war with friend's dog. Now my eye is sore and sensitive. Damn, that's annoying. But the same could not be said for one particular visitor to the Yanggakdo International, who through either valor or vacuousness decided to find out for himself. Born on December 12th of 1994 in Cincinnati, Ohio, Otto Frederick Warmbier, holy shit. Talk about scary. Vombier. It's literally Warmbier, that's a crazy last name. Otto Warmbier. If you gave me a warm beer, I'd go crazy. About vitamin B6 being added to magnesium tabs and other subs that lead to permanent damage, so double check your magnesium tabs, peeps. Wait, why does it... Really? Why? Is this true? Permanent damage. There's evidence that excessive intake of vitamin B6, pyridoxine, often included in magnesium supplements, can lead to nerve damage known as peripheral neuropathy. This condition is characterized by symptoms such as tingling, burning, or numbness, typically in the hands and feet. Notably, peripheral neuropathy can occur even at relatively low doses of vitamin B6, especially when multiple supplements containing the vitamin are taken simultaneously. For instance, a case reported in the Therapeutic Goods Administration involved an individual who experienced significant nerve damage after consuming magnesium supplement containing 40 milligrams of pyridoxine hydrochloride daily, along with a multivitamin also containing vitamin B6. Crazy. Should I go check? Should I go check real quick? I should go check. Thanks for making me paranoid. Bro. It's the first fucking ingredient. I'm not even joking. It's the Gorilla Dream Sleep and Recovery formula. And the first fucking ingredient, vitamin B6, is pyridoxal 5-phosphate. Wow. Oh my god, bro. B6 isn't water soluble like vitamin C. I forget if it can be listed as something else and not blatantly B6. I have to go searching for research, but good luck to check. Fuck, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone by next week, bro. Calculate total intake. Okay. Add up the total amount of B6 you're consuming daily from all supplements. Be alert to symptoms you're experiencing. Tingling, burning, or numbness in your hands or feet, which I haven't had. Consult a... What does it do? Wait, okay. Wait, how much is in one serving? Oh. 35 milligrams, which is 2,059% of your daily value. That's a lot. That's a high percentage. That's 20 times what you normally need. Why does it have that much? How do they not... Man, I guess that's the whole fucking... You didn't read that before you bought it. I mean, I'm just learning about the B6 being potentially bad for you right now. Given these risks, it's important to monitor your daily intake of B6 from all sources. The TGA's updated regulations now requiring products containing a daily dose of vitamin B6 over 10 milligrams to carry a warning about peripheral neuropathy. They also reduced the maximum permitted daily dose of vitamin B6 in individual products from 200 to 100 milligrams for adults. Wow. Now I wait. What does excess B6 do? I got magnesium glycinate, no B6 from the ingredients. I think I have one that does that. Excess B6 can cause neurological damage, particularly peripheral neuropathy, which affects the nerves outside the brain and spinal cord. Okay, perfect. I'll still have I can keep me a brain in a jar. Numbness and tingling hands, burning and shooting pains, loss of coordination, difficulty walking, confusion, irritability, depression, sensory hypersensitivity, heightened pain perception, impaired sense of touch. I mean, I haven't had any of that. Upper tolerable intake levels for adults, 100 milligrams a day. Toxicity symptoms may appear at 50 to 200 milligrams a day over months or years. You can't overdose on B vitamins. You pee it out. Any non-absorbed. I mean, I don't know. That's what the fucking thing was saying. What do we got? Health supplements containing B6 can cause peripheral neuropathy. Is this link a new discovery? What is peripheral neuropathy about vitamin B6? Further. No, it's been known for some time that B6 can cause peripheral neuropathy. We published a safety advisory on peripheral neuropathy and B6 in May of 2020. Jesus, dude, what the fuck? It's not all B vitamins. I have to be on B12 due to deficiency, but B6 has been unregulated and added. Well, fuck me sideways, I guess. That's sad. No more Gorilla Glue. Like, sniff. Damn. That's fucking lame. But thanks for letting me know, though. Of all the shit I've just been, like, literally housing for so long on the stream is fucking magnesium. Oh, it's so funny. In general, you shouldn't need a supplement. Healthy diet should give enough vitamins to supplement unless you need to do lack of sunlight or other symptoms someone may have. Yeah, it was more just taking it like for the magnesium sup for sleep, and it just so happened to have a B6 in it for whatever reason. I don't know why they even add it. Fuck. Well, Take that all back. I don't know. Anyways, born on December 12th of 1994 in Cincinnati, Ohio, Otto Frederick Warmbier grew up to be an intelligent and gregarious young man. Upon graduating high school, he studied commerce and economics at the University of Virginia and spent a year at the London School of Economics as part of an exchange program. It seems his visit to the United Kingdom sparked a deep wanderlust in young Otto, and over the years that followed, he traveled to Cuba, Ecuador, and a host of other European countries. By the summer of 2015, Otto had turned his sights on East Asia, and after some searching, secured a free trip to Hong Kong via another study that broad program. Do you like King Nusmi? Who's that? Never heard of him. I don't even know who I even like on YouTube, honestly. You guys gotta tell me who I like. By the summer of 2015, Otto had turned his sights on East Asia, and after some searching, secured a free trip to Hong Kong via another study abroad program Fuck, man. Yeah, fuck it. I might just record this tomorrow. I'm annoyed. And I've fucking been poisoned for years with a B6. What the fuck? Why did they even throw it in there? What's the point of throwing it in? If it kills you. I'm gonna go fucking blind. Cock and balls. That's annoying as shit. It's not likely you're at toxic levels unless you're taking very high B6 supplements. I mean, no, I mean, you said it just like doesn't leave your body though, right? Let me ask it. So the B6 just doesn't leave the body? Question mark. Do you ever stream in game? Yeah, once in a while. B6 is water soluble, meaning the body does not store large amounts of it and typically excretes excess through urine. However, chronic overconsumption can still lead to toxicity and nerve damage despite it. Okay, so maybe I would have had to get into like the 200. But honestly, I have other magnesium. I don't even need to take it, honestly. I don't even know what the fuck. Blurg. High doses can interfere with how nerves function, causing direct toxicity in nerves. Dude, I wonder... Nah, I don't know. Short-term high doses over 500 milligrams a day can cause acute neuropathy. Long-term moderate doses, excess, 50 to 200 milligrams for... Well, this is only 35, right? So maybe I'm good? Because the high doses is 500 to 200 milligrams daily for months and years can also have problems, even though excess B6 is being excreted. So do you think maybe I've been good since I'm at like the 35? Yeah, whatever. I just don't, it's like people say you only live once, but it's not like I'm like taking like cyanide and I'm going to explode at some point. It just would suck to be like blind for the rest of your life, All in reading has good answers about magnesium B6. I can't find anything negative about it. Where did you find it? I'm just looking it up on ChatGDP, which then brought up an article from tga.gov.au, so it's Australian. And then it was this study from 2020. Present in multivitamins and mineral preparations, B6 complexes in combination with magnesium, known as side effect. Well, yeah. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna read this shit tomorrow. I just don't feel like reading 10 more pages of this. But I love you guys, appreciate you. Thanks for chilling and hanging with me. Always a good time. I'll get this up on Patreon, edited, ready to rock and roll. It's only $1 a month over there for early access to all the audio, where you'll hear it first, and then I'll get it up on YouTube Mondays and Thursdays. 9 p.m. EST. Otherwise, I'll be back Wednesday streaming for you, so be sure to hit that notification bell for when I go live around 9 p.m. on Wednesday night EST, and then follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. If I survive till next time, that's the big thing. Oh my god. And I've been like highly advising everyone to take it for a long time. Yeah, take this anytime. Unsubscribe. You know what, Papa Mateo? I unsubscribed from you too. I was actually a huge fan of Papa Mateo. Every day I woke up, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch Papa's videos. Well, guess what? We're going band for band, and you are out. I'm going back to Markiplier. All right. I'm just kidding, Mateo. Please, please, please put out some more FNAF videos. I need more FNAF lore, please. All right, bye guys. See ya. Wait. 1 second, I'm back. I found something. Are you guys still there? Okay, yeah, I'm not gone. I found something. A breakthrough. All studies done using B6, either alone or in combination with other substances, B1, B12, folate, biotin, RLA, etc., did so with maximum of 200 milligrams per day for a max of 24 weeks, most shorter. Some only 100 milligrams per day. Commercially available products such as Meta-NX, Euphoria, etc. only have 80 milligrams a day and of B6 P5P. See next point. 2. That one takes, keeping point 1 above in mind, only B6 P5P and not the pyridoxine HCl forms. So this one is B6 pyridoxal 5 phosphate. So that's the P5P form, and it's only 35 milligrams. The pyridoxine HCl needs to be converted in the liver to the P5P. It's this conversion process that is potentially harmful in high dosages over long periods of time. There are no cases, neither in normal dosages nor in therapeutic dosages over periods of time less than 6 months, or any B6 toxicity when the patient used the P5P form. Toxicity was only found in people using the pyridoxine HCl form in high dosages over long periods of time. Okay, so that goes into a little bit more detail about that, which, you know, alleviates my concerns. Is that it sounds like it's the conversion process within, like they said, within the liver from the pyridoxine HCl to the already B6 P5P form or whatever. So, alright, maybe I'll keep using this, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, see you guys. Sorry about that. Just wanted to get that out. Alright, the stream is